We are live for another episode of The Panel for UFC 330. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, 138 MMA. We've also got Danny Brasco joining us. Thank you for coming on, Danny. And JB will be here. Don't worry. We're going to have the full four. He's just, he's working on it. He's figuring it out. He's on his way. I'm sure he's going to arrive soon. So we'll give our quick thoughts on the card. In my opinion, I think it's a pretty solid card. I'm really looking forward to the main event. I'm an Islam fan. The last time we saw him in UFC 322, I think it was, I was there live, and it was a sick card. It's just like obviously a very dominant and impressive performance from him, but it was a little boring. So I'm hoping maybe this one will be a little bit more exciting. We'll see a little bit more maybe scrambling from me and Gary, but we'll talk about that fight towards the end of this show. And yeah, looking forward to breaking it down with you guys. Tower, how are you feeling about this card?
Well, I'm on too many underdogs, so that's a problem.
What else is new?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like the other day, I picked literally all the favorites on the card, and it went really well for me because, the favorites usually win. And then, sometimes I do this where it's I go on a streak of okay, well, I only have a couple underdogs for a few weeks in a row. Everything's great, and then I'm man, now I'm on 5 or 6 underdogs, and this is a problem. So I'll probably get 50% of them right. So hopefully that ends up working out for the money. So I don't know. It's all right. It'll be good.
That's the beauty of underdogs. If you're playing 6 and you hit half, you're going to profit. So,
dude, if you hit 2 sometimes, depending on which ones you're on.
Especially with the ones we usually play.
Dude, real talk.
You only really need one sometimes. But how about you, Danny? How you feeling about this card?
It's pretty good, man. In Philly, I was hoping to see maybe a little more stacked of a card. Obviously, I'm not going to complain because they put out so many. I'm a guy that's give me a fight card every week. If some of the matchups are subpar and people are lamenting who versus who, it's all good. There's still 2 titles on the line here. It's still potentially the GOAT Islam going for 17 consecutive wins, looking to beat Anderson Silva's record all time. And despite his insane resume, there are still kind of some blemishes or question marks I feel like he needs to answer for, the way people characterize his win over Volkanovski 48-47 the first time around. The win over Poirier, where he took a lot of damage. Poirier was boxing him up before the 5th round Darce choke. Renato Moicano taking that fight on an hour's notice for a title defense. So despite the resume, I still think people want to see a dominant performance, especially like you mentioned, coming off just a wet blanket smothering win over Jack Della. And I wonder how he's going to look against a hard stylistic matchup in Ian Gary, who just makes it awkward for people. So yeah, I'm hyped for that. The main event is all hype here, man.
Danny, you're new to the panel, but it's very easy to tell what Tyler's thinking and what he agrees or disagrees with when you're talking, because he's very vocal with his head. Especially when I'm talking. And Tyler, we were right.
Yeah, we'll go figure.
All right, let's jump into this card, guys. So first matchup of UFC 330, we've got Jeremiah Wells versus Miktik Bek Orolbai. Tyler, start us off.
Okay, so this is the thing that's really been bugging me about this one is I'm notoriously too high on Jeremiah Wells. I don't know what it is. For some reason, I rate him higher than everybody else does, and it's worked out for me all right because he's almost always an underdog and he's cashed quite a few of these. But when he doesn't, he looks really bad. And when I looked at this match originally, I was oh, Wells is kind of live here, and then I thought about it more, and I was like, dude, you're overrating Wells. There's a reason Orolbai is a minus 1,000 or something like that. Let it go. So I'm taking Orolbai, but I'm rooting for Wells. He's the only Philly guy. There's another guy from Pennsylvania on the card, but he doesn't live there. So I'm rooting for Wells. If I get this one wrong on the pick, I'll be okay with it, and I'm sure not going to parlay up Orolbai at minus 1,000. So there you go.
Who's from PA but doesn't live there? Is it Stoltz?
Stoltz, yeah, he lives in Germany.
Yeah, I feel like I knew that.
Mm-hmm. But he's from the country in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania somewhere else.
Probably German Amish Pennsylvania out there. Stoltzfuß.
Probably, actually. I feel like that's probably accurate.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. But what do you think about this matchup, Danny?
I think if you want, you got to pick your poison with Orolbai. Minus 1050 is ridiculous, but you can pick a method and exploit the books here because they're calling it a toss-up. Knockout is plus 170, which I'm circling. Submission is plus 200 and decision is plus 225. So they don't really know how it's going to play out. To me, I feel like Wells is not going to be able to keep up with the pace. Like Oralbai is a better grappler. Wells is super physical with his wrestling, but I don't think he's going to be able to land like a massive overhand that just puts Oralbai down. He's so tough. He's got that caveman power. He can just kind of march forward, mix his punches with his takedowns together. I feel like eventually the volume and pressure is going to add up, and I'm going to take Oralbai by knockout. I think unanswered punches on the ground. He could definitely lace up the sub, but I really don't think Wells survives till the final bell with him. So I'm going to take the plus 170 knockout.
Yeah, makes sense to me. For me, I love Oralbai. I've been high on him since he got to the UFC. I kind of wish that he stayed at 155, but I get it if it's not working with the weight. It's still working at 170. The way he knocked out Hermanson, the way he beat Chris Curtis, still very impressive. And I mean, we're talking about an 11-year age difference here. Jeremiah Wells, he got to the UFC pretty late, and now he's 39 years old, and I do think we're seeing a decline with him. And I feel like if you're going to beat Oralbai, you have to do what Rebecca did. You have to literally just not care and be willing and able to just go to war. And I don't know if Jeremiah Wells at 39 years old can go to war. So I think Oralbai breaks him. And like you said, Danny, with the pace, I think that's a big thing here. Is I think he's going to overwhelm him. And maybe it's not in the first round. I feel like it might be, but if not, then I think it'll be like the second, at worst, the third round. I do think he finishes ITD. What's the ITD price? Probably not too great, right?
Yeah, it's probably horrible.
That's why
minus 200.
Yeah.
If anything,
like I heard minus 1,000, but
yeah, I don't hate the under 1.5. That one's kind of tempting.
I don't know about that because like it's hard to say because Wells sometimes will look like he's hurt and then just like survive long enough to not die.
You know? Yeah, he got wobbled a few times by Max Griffin. They went to split with him.
Exactly. Like sometimes he's just like you'll be like, oh, he's about to go out of there, and then he's still kind of there. Yeah, 1.5. If it was under 2.5, maybe 1.5's a little sketchy.
Yeah, I just pulled up his UFC stats. I wanted to see like who he's been losing to, like getting hurt by. And like it has been all older guys recently. Themba, Griffin, Harris. Semmelsberger knocked him down twice 3 years ago. Didn't finish though.
Yeah, dude just like clings to life at the end and stays in.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever been knocked out on his pro career, but yeah, if you're getting dropped, going to splits with Semi the Jedi and Max Griffin at 39, I feel like Oralbai could overwhelm you.
Yeah. But all right, let's move on. Next up, we've got Neil Magny versus Ramiz Brahima. Danny, why don't you start us off for this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I see the line is moving in Brahimai's favor. He's a Bronx guy, so shout out New York here. I just kind of like him for that reason. You know, his win condition is by submission. I think almost all of his wins, all but one, I believe, come by submission. So, you know, that's where he's dangerous. Magny obviously is a good grappler, veteran guy, but he has lost by submission 7 times. So Ramiz is a lot younger. He's, I think, a lot more explosive at this point. Maybe early he can just kind of string some punches together, create a scramble, get to the back, and find a submission. He's also got a crazy squeeze on his guillotine. I feel like his sub is live. I like that plus 180. Just considering Magny feels like he's on the decline. You know, Magny might be a much larger underdog if not for that win over Jake Matthews, where it was a really weird ruling, right? The ref thought he was out, but he was kind of still holding his arm up. I think it was Herzog who's made a lot of weird calls lately. And I could have that wrong. And they overruled the decision. And then Matthews, after adrenaline dumping, had to restart the fight, and then he got submitted. So if not for that, we'd see Magny on a 2-fight skid, and I think Brahima might be an even bigger favorite. So I feel like I'm going to give him this fight for the youth. And if it goes deep, Magny could definitely put the volume together, just be that kind of crafty vet, annoying to deal with. But I think Brahima has a chance to sub him before that happens.
Yeah, makes sense. For me, on my show, yesterday, I did pick Brahima, and I'll stick by it. Like, he is the younger guy. I do think Magny's washed. I think we can all agree that he's pretty much washed, or at least declining heavily. And I do think that even on the feet, I think Brahima can maybe hurt him. His hands have gotten sharper. He does have a little bit of pop to his punches early. He's aggressive. I like that. We saw that in the Vanderford fight. And yeah, his jiu-jitsu is elite. Nobody can dispute that. I think he's very, very dangerous. And of course, he can submit Magny. I wanted to retape it. I said that on my show, and I retaped it today. And I don't feel like Magny's that easy to take down. Like, I feel like his takedown defense is pretty good. Even now, And I feel like his balance is there. He does the right things. He obviously knows how to defend takedowns. Like he's been in the game forever. Like his striking, I don't like it. I don't like Magny's striking. It's a good jab, a good 1-2, but these days that's about all he has. Maybe a couple kicks, but the hands will come low. If you can close the distance quickly, you can get inside and you can hurt him. That's a concern. But I feel like he also does have a pretty big advantage in the clinch. I think that's pretty relevant here, especially because Ramiz also does slow down. And how many times have we seen Ramiz controlled in that clinch situation, controlled up against the cage? That's how he lost to Themba in that snoozer. And that's how Magny wins fights, is he gets guys in the clinch, and he's very strong there. He's deceptively strong. He doesn't seem that physical, but he is. And he'll land those knees. He'll throw some elbows. And I think Ramiz will fade if we get into rounds 2 and 3. So I'll stick by my pick for now, but I'm very tempted on the play for Magny. It's like sitting around plus 125 now. And it's just a matter of do I play it now or do I just let the first round play out and then decide if he's not submitted? So we'll see, but I'll stick with my Ramiz pick for now. How about you, Tyler?
I think it's crazy that Magny's the underdog. I do not get it. Okay, so let me break this down. I understand that the submission is live for Ramiz, especially in the first round, all right? Because he has 13 wins in his career and 12 of them are by submission. I know he knocked out Mickey Gall, but that does not make him a great boxer. It's fine, but Mickey Gall, come on. So outside of that, the best win Ramiz has is over Vanderford, I'd say, and that was his most recent win. And that's still nowhere near the guys that Magny's been fighting, right? I mean, outside of that, Ramiz has had the craziest set of fights. I looked through his record yesterday. I'm looking through it again, and I'm like, he's losing to Themba Gorimbo. Come on, man. Do you think Magny loses to Themba Gorimbo? Absolutely not. So at least I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Didn't Themba just lose to Jonathan McAuliffe? I agree. Magny beats him.
Exactly. Let's go. There we go. So I think Magny should be the favorite here. I don't understand why he's the underdog. I think he's gonna probably win in round 3 because that's just kind of what he does. But yeah, Ramiz is a very good submission grappler, but he's not. It's rare that he's the one getting the takedowns too. A lot of times people are taking him down and then he's submitting them. And Magny's not easy to take down. If Magny just pushes him up against the cage and makes this a snoozer for the first 2 rounds and then just starts beating him up in the third, it's over. So yeah, give me Magny. I feel I don't know why he's the underdog, and I feel crazy because everybody's on Ramiz, but okay, Ramiz's wins: Vanderford, Billy Ray Goff, Mickey Gall, Michael Gilmore, Sasha Palatnikov, and
Don't you think Vanderford's a pretty good win though?
It's an all right win. It's
that dude's
decent.
legit, bro. I think.
I mean, he's pretty good, but then again, if you look at Vanderford, it's just before he beat up on what's his face, Vertenikov, he was just Mr. Van Zant. Nobody even gave him his real name, and now all of a sudden he's this big shot.
Well, it's because he got to the UFC finally, and not that many people watch Bellator. But
and his win in the UFC is over Vertenikov, who's
But what win has Magny had recently that was genuinely impressive?
I mean, any of his wins are better than Ramiz at this point, right? I mean, who? Okay, let's see.
I mean, the Jake Matthews one was incredibly weird circumstances.
Mike Mallett.
And Jake was
Mike
Jake was coming off of an adrenaline dump, and he still won the second round. So he was on his way to winning the decision, and then he gets subbed in the third. ZDS was beating him up, and then he gets ZDS out of there. Very impressive finish, don't get me wrong, but he was losing. And then Pratis Morales, of course, will forgive him. Mallet was also kicking his ass and then got exhausted. But that was all I cashed there. That felt
he's
so
known
good.
for his cardio.
Right. To be fair,
he's
he
not.
faded
He's not.
against Puna after he won the first. I just checked out the MMA decisions. He dropped the final 2 rounds. They both had fairly amount of the same significant strikes on the stat sheet, both 3 takedowns apiece, but he lost the bigger moments at the end. So if it gets to 3, I'll be live betting Magny if the line's available for sure.
It gets out of 1.
I think you make a good case.
Yeah, I think it's Magny all day. I played his round 3 prop already just because I'm in Nebraska and we can't really live bet here. So I'm you can go to the casino and do it at the casino, but that's kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, I'll take Magny. I feel way too good about it. So something's probably going to go wrong.
But bet wise, I agree with you. It's definitely dogger pass. You're not going to catch me laying minus 140 on Ramiz.
No,
JB is so funny. He goes talk longer. I like this fight.
Oh my goodness.
And the best part, he said 9 o'clock is better for him.
Yeah, it's a half hour late. Brother,
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, he's in Texas, so it's only 8:30 for him. So like, he's got 30 more minutes before 9 o'clock for him.
True.
That's what he's operating on.
He was like, "Oh no, we're going Central Time around here, boys."
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's jokes. All right, JB, I'm sorry, bro. We're gonna have to move on, but you'll catch up. We'll have you give picks for both of those fights. All right, next up, this is the one where we had to have a serious talk tower, and I'm glad that I'm the one starting this. Next up, we've got Rafael Tobias versus Lucas Fernando. Tyler, how on earth are you gonna say that Fernando should be minus 1,000, bro?
Tobias is terrible.
How?
He's terrible.
Bro, Fernando has terrible takedown defense.
Sure. Tobias
So
has
how on
terrible
earth can you make him
everything.
minus 1,000? That was the
Tobias has
craziest
terrible
thing I've ever heard
everything.
you say, and I've heard you say a lot of crazy
Everything.
things.
He doesn't have anything good. He's supposed to be a grappler. He's supposed to be he's supposed to be a brown belt grappler. Dude, I've rolled with plenty of brown belts. This guy ain't no brown belt. Whoever
Bro.
gave him that brown belt needs to take it back.
Literally, the second he hit the ground with DR, the second he hit the ground, he's in full mount. The second
that's
he hits the
exactly
ground,
right.
he's on the back. Huh?
That dude can't grapple. That guy got Ezekiel choked without a gi
Okay.
on.
That guy's
Nurgle's
just outta
bad
here.
on the ground.
His jits is bad, but he is hard to take down, bro. His takedown defense, if you actually look at what he's doing and the things he's doing to defend the takedowns, DR's takedown defense is nice. And Tobias still, what you saw from him, you saw him shoot, 9-10 times. You saw him have the cardio to still do it. You saw him to have the cardio to do it in the third round, take the back, and with short time, still go for that sub, go for that win when you know you're down. His striking, yeah, it's not great. Fernando is a much better striker. I actually really like Fernando's striking. I think he's fast. I think his body work is nice. I think the kicks, the combinations are nice. JB, I'll put you in as soon as I'm done talking. He's here.
There we go.
I like a lot about Fernando, and I think that the move up to 205, there's good and there's bad. I think overall it's a net positive. On the good side, I think that his power is going to increase here, and I think we might already be seeing that with those 2 first-round knockouts he got recently. And I think that he'll fill out into the frame. I think overall it'll be good. He won't have to cut that weight. He was very big for the weight class. But on the other hand, one of the things that he stood out with, and one of the main good things about him, has been his size, and that he was so big for the division. And he doesn't have that anymore now at 205. Even against Tobias isn't huge, but he's 6'2". He's not going to be much shorter. He's giving up reach, sure, but he already shouldn't be striking regardless of the reach, because Fernando is a better striker. But from what I see from Tobias, he's not really going to try to strike if it's not working out for him. I do think that he is going to be grappling. And when I look at Fernando, I mean, the guy's takedown defense has not improved. And we're going to talk about DR's bad grappling. I mean, he takes down Cesar Almeida, and every single time he takes Cesar Almeida down, an older kickboxer, Cesar Almeida reverses and ends up on top and spends 1, 2, 3 minutes there. And Fernando's just stuck. And it's not like it's really gotten better. When you look at, there's the most recent one before he went up to 205, because once he went up to 205, he just sparked Latu, and he sparked that other fella in like a minute. But I think his name was Pedro. Against Pedro took him down in the first round very easily. And it was like a trip. I think it was, I don't remember if it was inside or outside, but it was a trip. And then he did it again in the third round. And when Fernando goes down, he just accepts full guard, and he's just chilling there. So when I look at it, it's like, yeah, I think more often than not, he probably wins the fight, but I don't think he should be such a massive favorite when there's a clear hole here, and he's fighting a guy who I do consider a solid grappler, not elite, but a solid grappler. And he's 23 years old too, Tobias. So he's going to keep getting better, I think. And I think we're going to see quick improvements from him. So I do expect him to come out here and at least get some takedowns. And if he is getting some takedowns, I'm happy to be on him at plus 2XX, whatever it is. So I'm going to go with Tobias here. I'll make him my pick just because, and that's what we'll do. Tyler's losing his mind. All right, Tyler, your turn.
Dude, he ain't good. Tobias ain't good. He's not, like, man, he's not it. Like, you look through his resume too, and that's horrible. And like, yeah, I can't do it. I think Fernando is going to end him pretty quick. And I think even if he does end up getting the takedown, I don't think his jiu-jitsu is good enough to sub anybody. Like, I mean, anybody that has a pulse, I mean, he's subbing guys that are 0-0 when he's got, I don't know, what, like 7 or 8 wins or something. He's fighting this Guilherme Cunha, was 0-0, and he subbed him. Good for him. Like, this, he's not good, man. And like, JB can probably attest to this. Like, I've seen Tobias is not a brown belt. Like, he said he's a brown belt. If this guy's a brown belt, the coach that gave it to him is lying to him. Like it's maybe he's a blue belt. I'll give him that.
He's going for Suluev stretches and stuff, bro. You gotta give me
Tobias?
that.
Thank you, JB. Thank you.
Yeah,
Give the guy at least
I'll
a
go for a
first.
Suluev stretch. It doesn't mean I'm getting it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like he's terrible.
Tyler also insists that guillotines don't work. So
Nobody's guillotining me. I put it out there. I put it out there for the whole academy. We have multiple black
To
belts
be
in there.
fair,
I'm like,
bro,
you guys
you
can
got,
guillotine
like,
me. I'll admit I'm wrong. Nobody's done it yet, and it's been over a year. So
someone's got to fly out to Nebraska and end this already.
Do it. I dare you. Like, let's
To
go.
be fair, bro, you do have like a fucking bean for a head, bro. That shit's gotta be. That's like a
ain't nobody
fucking-
guillotining this thing. You try. I'm just gonna like grit through it. Probably put you in a Von Flu, and you're gonna be like, oh man, that sucked. Why did I do that? Yeah, exactly. All right. Point is Tobias can't strike, and his grappling is meh at best. So give me Fernando to absolutely wreck him.
All right. How about you, Danny?
No, I love that you guys had such a back and forth on that because I did not have a strong opinion on this fight at all. I think you guys have a stronger opinion than anyone watching this card on Tobias Funke versus Lucas Fernando. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Tyler. I think he starches him too. I like Fernando. The striking is ugly, and if he can't get to his grappling, it's wraps. I think he smacks him with like a huge kick or something and compromises him.
Yeah, this kind of thing happens pretty often, Danny, where we'll have a sick card with really good fights, but me and Tyler will pick the one fight with complete bums on it, and we'll just argue about it for like 20 minutes.
Me and JB used to do like IG lives where people would be like, yo, go to the next fight. We'd be talking about like scrub of the scrub fight. And we spent like 20 minutes on it. And they're like, please, guys, the main event, please.
But yeah, when I heard Tyler's take on this on the Beat the Line broadcast, shout out to them. I was literally like, okay, how much are flights to Nebraska?
Dude,
enough.
Let's go. Come on, if you can guillotine me, I'll give you $1,000.
But all right, JB, what do you think about this fight? And after you do that, catch us up on what you think for the first two as well. Wells, Oral By, and Brahima and Magny.
And that's my bad, bro. I was rushing home. There was
all good, brother. We were just dying laughing because when I hit you up this morning and I was like, yo, is 9 good? And you were like, 9's better, bro.
Yeah. Like I was gonna be fucking home, and I'm over here fucking just lackluster and shit, bro. I think this guy's probably gonna get knocked the fuck out, but I do agree. Like, yo, what if the line just keeps going up, bro? It started at like I think plus 170 for Tobias, and now it's like plus 230. It's gonna be plus 250, plus 300, and you're shaking your head. But this guy's super unproven too. They're both unproven, bro. Fernando, he's fought. Probably Cesar Almeida's is probably the best out of all of them fight that they had. It was back and forth, but there was points in that fight where I saw Cesar grappling this dude. Cesar's primarily a fucking, kickboxer. It was reversals, stuff like that. Tobias, my problem with him is he doesn't really have the hands to set up the takedown, so shit's going to get sloppy in between. He's probably going to get hit with a lot of shots, but if he could wear the shots, get through that, I think it's going to be a tough task. I think he can start to get the ground game going, and you shitted on the guy's jiu-jitsu, but he's pretty slick with the transitions. Like, he gets guys to the ground. He's moving right into dominant positions. He can be reversed, but you watch a fight against DR Nurgazai. I know the guy is terrible.
You're so bad.
It's his UFC debut. The guy is just 23 years old.
He was 22 then.
Yeah. I need to see where this line goes. I think Fernando very likely knocks him out, but I'm looking at some stuff, man. I think Fernando could win a decision too. I don't think this guy Tobias is like super like chinny. Like, where's the proof? And he's been finished before?
Yeah, Porto knocked him out a couple years back.
Yeah, he wrecked him.
Yeah, it was a while back. He was a kid, and Porto hits hard. He's kind of trash, but he hits hard.
Yeah, I think contrarian ways to look at this fight. I think it's probably Fernando by knockout, but I think, maybe fight goes the distance. Fernando decision, I'm seeing Tobias decision, I'm seeing like plus 850. That's a huge number with a guy with a grappling path against the UFC debutant. And they both fought very limited competition. And I've seen the other guy grappled before. So I lean a little more with Mike, but outright prediction.
Let's go.
Probably gonna get slumped, bro, but like it's greasy, but that's an underdog. It's gonna be plus 250, plus 260, and you got to make choices. And out of all the ones on the card, I like Tobias more than I like fucking Edson Barboza.
Yeah, out of the bigger underdogs that aren't like plus 125, he's the one that stood out for me. Clear path, still really young and improving, and I do think he's very good at what he does do, the grappling.
I don't think Tobias has even beat a single person that could get a win in the LFA. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say that. Like, his best win is that farmer that they brought onto the Contender Series that literally wasn't training until they offered him a spot on the Contender Series, and he was like, "Well, I usually just farm, but like, yeah, they offered me a spot, so I started training again." That's straight up what he said, dude.
I feel like you just hate this guy because you really hate when Contender Series brings on low-level guys.
No,
So
Like, it's not even that I hate like that they bring on low-level guys. I hate when they bring on people that are just like legitimately fighting non-fighters.
bro, he's not even fronting. I just looked him up. It's Jair de Oliveira. He's straight up looks like he was carrying bales of hay.
Dude, he's a farmer. Like, he said that like dead serious in his interview. Like, he's just like, yeah, I'm a farmer, and like I decided to train for this fight because they offered me this fight or whatever. I'm like, what?
most people probably heard that and just went in one ear and out the other, and Tyler was just like, "What did you just say?"
Well, because like I was taping him too, and I'm like, there's no way they're bringing this guy on the Contender Series. They must really want this Tobias guy to win, and that's true. They did really want him to win because he looks the part. But
Literally,
man,
Irish potato feels like he did something to him.
no, like I'm sure he's a nice guy. It's just like, it's just crazy to me that like he got brought on, man. I don't know. He's not like, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him on 4 years from now when he's actually gotten some skills and stuff. But like, man, he ain't there.
All right, I'm gonna move this along before we
All
keep
right.
going on the same fight because
You can't sub Dier Nergojai or whatever, however you say it. Like, you're not good at jiu-jitsu. I sub him. Maybe not. He's way bigger than me. I'm like
it's like 14
145
times your
pounds, but-
size. But all right, moving on.
All right. Yeah.
We've got Vicente Luque versus Tresean Gore. Tyler, start us off for this one.
Oh crap! All right, I want another underdog. I got Luque, and I feel good about it because I'm a Tresean Gore denier. Like, if you don't stick your head in a standing guillotine, he's not going to beat you. That's it. Everybody was talking about like this guy's power, and he's knocked out one guy in his career that like he actually knocked out. There was like a stop in between rounds, like in an early regional fight. But like the only person he knocked out is Gilbert Urbina on Tough, and like, does that mean you've got a lot of power? It's kind of like Ramiz Brahimaj knocking out Mickey Gall. It's like, oh, now he's a power puncher. Like, what are we doing here? Like, Gord, like he looks like he should be a power puncher, but I haven't seen anything to back it up. I've seen a lot of standing guillotines that he's really good at. I'll give him that. He's got like 3 of them in the UFC. That's the only way he's won in the UFC. And then he comes in here with this, like I said in my video, a Juliana Miller looking record. And people are all like, yeah, Tresean Gore should be a favorite over Vicente Luque. Get out of town. Give me Luque. I know he's definitely on the latter half of his career. He doesn't have everything left. Like, but man, I can't imagine him losing to Tresean Gore. He didn't lose to Gastelum. I mean, I feel like Gastelum's leaps and bounds, even at this point in his career, better than Tresean Gore. I mean,
I feel like Gastelum hasn't cared about MMA in years.
He's been at the taco truck for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he beat RDA post brain bleed, so like, an RDA's like a good fighter, like as a former world champion. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, people were saying it's gonna be like the Buckley fight, but like Buckley not only like shoves Tresean Gore in a locker, but he takes his lunch money every day for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? Like, I would bet the house on Buckley over Gore. So, yeah, give me Luque. And like, that sucks. I want another underdog, and I'll probably be wrong about it, but I can't imagine him sticking his head in a standing guillotine. So Luque. All
right, how about you, Danny?
Yeah, this is a gross fight. It's like the weirdest crossroads fight. Like, you meant Gore's records. Was it 6-4, 7-4? The dude was about to be out of the UFC before he upset Azamat Bekaev. He was a big underdog. I actually cashed on him live during that fight because I saw Bekaev fading away. I feel like I'm kind of like with your sentiment, Tyler. Like, Gore is not really good now because he beat Bekaev. Bekaev kind of got fraud checked. Gore's durable as fuck, though. I mean, he's tough to put away. Mm-hmm. Like, he can come back from bad spots. Marco Tulio's putting a beat on him. He was still trying to fight back, even though he got finished. But so I just feel like if he makes it nasty with Luque, that could be tough. Just because I don't know how much damage Luque can take. Luque did go the distance against Joel Alvarez, but who was reffing that fight? That ref is stop the fight. Like there were many times where you could have stopped that fight, I think.
Was that her?
All our refs have been a mess lately. Like literally
Yeah.
all of them are such a mess.
I don't want to be the guy that likes to always complain, this ref, that ref, but like I have issues with a lot of referees. I think Mark Goddard is my gold standard right now.
It was Osiris Maya was the ref for that one.
There you go.
I don't even know who that is, to be honest. But yeah, he got it wrong. In any case, he's just taking a lot of damage. Like, yeah, the Buckley fight was weird. The people bring up the Buckley fight mostly because of the body language. Like Luque just seemed to be defeated. He wasn't urgent to get back up. He was accepting position. So, but yeah, you can't see Tresean Gore doing that to him from top position. Like that's not the game. So Luque's fought on a way higher level, but 2-3 in his last 5. Is he anaconda choke or bust at this point? Because that's how he got Gastelum. That's how he got Themba Gorimbo. It could be levels. Luque's fought at a way higher level. He's fought Bilal, Wonderboy Thompson, like levels that Gore may never sniff, probably won't. But it's just like, where are they at right now? Like, is Luque ready to fold it up? I'm going to take under 2.5. I don't think this fight sees the final bell.
That I like. How about you, JB?
Yeah, I don't think he's anaconda choke or bust. I mean, he dropped Gastelum before that. He dropped Gorimbo bad. Bro, Luque low-key still got some pop in the punches. Like, and they say power is the last thing to go. It's a lot of skill versus will, though, in this fight. Another thing, too, is you mentioned Luque in that Buckley fight, bro. He quit. I don't care what anybody says. He didn't want in there. And when I see that out of a fighter, it makes it tough for me to back. But skill-wise, I think he's going to be landing a lot of straight shots. I think he could hurt Gore. I've seen Gore hurt a ton. He gets hurt a ton in this fight, and a lot of those guys drop him. Luque, he's going to jump right on that anaconda choke. If Gore gets hurt in this fight, he's going to be on his knees, and that Luque is going to wrap up because that's something he has till this day. Wrapping it up against multiple guys in the last few fights. He trains out of a great gym with Henry Huth, so he's very crisp in his technique. I don't think he's like super slow, super washed in that, but he slows the later the fight goes, and he tends to wilt. Whereas the other side, Gore builds into these fights. He's really strong. I think he does have pop in the punches. The problem with me is it's very wingy. So yeah, this is a skill versus will fight for me. I tend to lean, if I get some plus on Tresean Gore, the less damaged goods, the guy who I think is gonna fight for my money harder than Luque at this point in his career. That's where I tend to go, and I even think he's got improved cardio. We don't see guys tend to improve cardio the later in their career, but he went 3 hard the last time, came back late in the fight. You could say that was Bakoev guessing, but I saw Tresean Gore in there hanging in, and I think this fight does start to see the later rounds. I think Gore starts to pick it up. So I like him. Maybe it's a live entry because I do think early it's going to be some heavy exchanges on the feet where Luque could pop him. But yeah, give me Gore to win it. I think he's just going to grease it out in rounds 2, rounds 3, maybe win a decision.
He said he stopped smoking the weed too. Gore off the weed is better.
I don't know about that. We've seen guys go both ways, but the one last thing I wanted to mention too is Luque is not a true 85er, bro. Like Gore is a 185-pounder, true and true. Kelvin Gastelum's a guy who ate a bunch of donuts and now is at 185 pounds. So yeah.
The Luque Buckley fight is like over 2 years ago though. So like I feel like that he hasn't done that since then.
Joel Alvarez, bro, he kind of just curled up in a ball and was just getting the shit kicked out of him.
I mean, that's a different
And the
story.
ref said, no, you're going to keep going, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think he was like just wilting in that fight because he was just like, I don't want to be here. I think he was just getting mauled. I think that's a different story.
Yeah.
Alvarez would do the same thing to Gore. They ain't no chance.
It's the brain bleed too. I think that's a lot of it as
That
well.
doesn't help, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if I was a pro fighter and I had the balls to come back to fighting after I had a brain hemorrhage, I would also not want to get hit as much as possible. So I get it, but it's also like if I'm going to bet on him, I also don't want that, like I rather not that. So I'm probably passing on this fight. Like I picked Gore on my show. I'm going to stick to it. Younger guy has just absorbed way less damage throughout his career. And I've never been a Gore guy. I'm pretty sure that I've never placed a bet on him. I wasn't high on him on The Ultimate Fighter. I certainly wasn't high on him afterwards, but I'm a little higher on Bakoev than most people are. I think he's a solid fighter, just doesn't have great cardio. And I thought that was a pretty impressive performance from Gore. I didn't love that he's kind of so willing to be on the back foot. I don't love that. You guys know me. I like guys who lead exchanges, who aren't just looking to counter the entire time, but he was doing well doing that. And he landed what, like 70 something significant strikes. That's more than he ever has. He was up 2-0 on 2 judges' scorecards, if I'm not mistaken. So he was on his way to winning that fight, whether he got that guillotine or not, as long as he didn't get finished in the third. And I thought he looked pretty good. With Luque, it's like, yeah, he hurt Gastelum, but where's Gastelum at this point of his career? Like we've been talking about, like I just feel like he's pretty much done also. Is it still impressive to knock down Gastelum with you moving up a weight class? Yeah, I think that's still pretty impressive, but I don't know. And like JB said, like Luque not being a real 185, or like that dude looked flabby. He looked flabby in the Gastelum fight. Like he didn't look shredded. He didn't look like he took the move up seriously. So I don't know how much is left in his career, but I do think he's the more skilled guy. So I like how JB said it, skill versus will. I also think Will is going to come through here. I think Gore's going to end up getting the win, but definitely not passionate about this one. I won't argue with Tyler for 20 minutes about this one.
That's also the same Gastelum, though, that was A, coming off a win over Dustin Stoltzfus, and B, went to unanimous decision with Joe Pyfer, the guy that hits like an absolute freight train. He ate a head kick in that fight.
Yeah, but like he looked pretty bad in the Stoltzfus fight too.
He did. He still won.
Yeah, but he looked pretty bad, bro.
Yeah.
But all right, everybody went, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's move
I went
on.
like 4 times, so.
Nice. Next up, we've got Dante Johnson versus Eric McConico. Danny, start us off for this one.
Also a weird fight, man. You know, Dante Johnson lost a lot of stock in his last win. He's still undefeated at 8-0, but he went to a close split decision with Cody Brundage that I'm not sure he deserved. I think he might have been in one of my parlays. He saved it, and I kind of thought Brundage won that fight. They both have a common win, a split win over Cody Brundage. So when you're looking at the records, that's something that popped out. But Johnson's obviously got heavy hands. He's a big puncher. You know, he came down from heavyweight, light heavyweight. Now he's a middleweight. He was fast. He was like the speedy guy when against, you know, a lot bigger opponents. Not really the case at 185 anymore. Like, yeah, he got the submission over Cedricus Dumas in his debut, but we're not really rating that win. And now, I don't know, McConico, he's gotten knocked out in a couple losses in the UFC, but in the third round against Baisangar Susurkayev, pretty damn good-looking prospect, Nursultan Ruziboev, dangerous fighter. These are a lot better fighters than Dante Johnson, in my opinion. It's just the style, really. Like, McConico has the footwork. I think he has the ability to win minutes. I like the MMA lab style striking out of these guys. He's smart. He's a smart fighter. I like him. He seems to be getting better, too. He beat Rodolfo Vieira. He got taken down, but he stayed safe. You know, he was able to win the moments, and he's just showing like a well-roundedness. So I'm a fan. He's just a lot older in this matchup too. So I wonder if just Johnson can hurt him early. But if it goes deep, I kind of favor McConico. So I feel like if I want to take a shot on something, maybe McConico decision here because Johnson's tough. You know, he's still young. I think he could go the whole way. But, you know, he was training with Jeff Mayweather, and the hype on his boxing was like really built up in the last fight. And then he's doing a lot of shoulder feint and shit and like just like a lot of wasted energy that's not setting up anything. It's not intelligent pressure feinting. He's not setting up angles. He's just moving shoulders to show something. So I don't like stuff like that. And it showed me that he's still growing and has a lot more growing to do. I thought he would storm through his early opposition. So I'm going to lean towards the veteran McConico.
All right. I like it. How about you, JB?
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup in the sense that it's going to be a southpaw versus southpaw. I don't know if McConico's fought southpaw in the UFC. Looking at his record, I didn't see anybody off the top of my head that was southpaw. I would have to look deeper into that. But looking back before the UFC as well, I think that's going to be an interesting thing in this matchup. A lot of the advantages McConico has. He's, you know, long, rangy guy. I believe he's got the reach advantage in this fight. Let me just double check and make sure. Yes, he has a 3-inch reach advantage, and he's the way taller fighter. Johnson listed at 5'8", McConico coming in at 6 foot. So I think his path is to, you know, use the jab, stay on the outside, avoid the big power shots, and try to skill his way back into this fight. My problem with that, bro, you're getting dropped by Rodolfo Vieira, a guy who's a pure jiu-jitsu guy, older in his career, maybe improved a little bit in the striking over the years, but not really, homie. And Johnson, for all that it's worth, those short guys, we've seen it recently in a flyweight fight. It was Steve Erceg versus Tamarov. Those short guys, they can, when you got those bigger guys with the chin up in there, they throw that overhand over the top, and and clack him with that. It's not going to be an overhand right. It's going to be an overhand left from Johnson. And I think that's the big thing he has to worry about. If he gets hit, I think Johnson's going to put his lights out cold. The durability concern for me on the McConnell side is heavy. If McConnell could clinch him up, find his way into these fights like he's been, man, I feel like he's been underdog in a lot of these fights and outperformed the price tag in most of them. So, yeah, it's not a Johnson spot for me. If I was going to play him, if he's going to cover this price tag, I think KO1, stuff like that.
KO1's not bad.
I like it, man. It's like plus 350.
Yeah, not bad.
A little bit. I mean, like that's his path, in my opinion, to cover that price tag. Like he has one sub on the record versus Dumas. I don't think he's going to do that here. I think it's KO1, maybe KO2, or it's getting greasy.
All right, yeah. For me, I've never been a Dante Johnson guy. I mean, maybe he could be good. I just feel like he's way too small for the weight class. I get it. He's a mini fridge of a man. He's super thick. He probably can't get any lower. It's just like 5'8" at middleweight. That's really tricky. He's lucky enough he's not fighting a super big guy in McConnell, but like I feel like McConnell is probably more skilled than him. I've been unnecessarily high on McConnell. I played him against Ruzabov. I still feel like if you run that fight back now that McConnell has the jitters out, I think it might be a closer fight. McConnell, to me, did not look like he has looked after or before in that Ruzabov fight. He just kind of looked scared. And, I mean, I'd be terrified if you put me in the cage against Ruzabov, so fair enough. And, like, I feel like he's pretty good. Like, I think he's a cleaner striker than Johnson. I think his cardio might be better than Johnson's. I lean towards it being better. I think he's a solid counter grappler, not the greatest, but solid. He can grapple a little bit in his own right. And Dante Johnson, I just don't really know what he's amazing at. He's just all hardware, all power, very explosive, but he's still young, right? And he can improve a lot, whereas McConnell is a pretty finished product at this point. Maybe he gets a little bit better here and there, but I think Dante Johnson's the one that we can see big improvements with. But the main thing for me is similar to what you guys were saying. I just don't know that McConnell can take the shots. Like, he doesn't eat shots well. Getting knocked down by Vieira is not a good look. Like, the guy's got paper hands when it comes to power, and he hurt him. So I don't love seeing that because Johnson does clearly hit really, really hard. And imagining McConnell just eating shots in that first round, like I don't know if he can take it. If he does, might be a great live bet entry, especially if he gets knocked down but doesn't get knocked out. That could be something. But other than that, I'm not super interested in this fight, betting wise. I'm excited to see how it plays out. Just probably not going to put my money on it. How about you, Tower?
So I was actually pleased to see that people were giving McConnell more flowers than I expected. I think he's probably going to win this short outside of just getting knocked out in the first. Or I mean, I guess he could get knocked out anywhere, but probably just the first. Really, like I don't think Dante Johnson's that great. I also thought Cody Brundage beat him, but that's okay. So it was close. It was a greasy split, but I think McConnell. Somebody had posted it in the chat yesterday. I don't know if the line's still there. That McConnell decision only is still plus money. I don't mind that at all. Like that's a decent spot. I do think if it goes to decision, McConnell probably won because there's a chance he loses, but like
I feel like he doesn't throw enough output and a couple power shots could steal around. No. Yeah,
but I just can't imagine that Dante can land enough shots could land enough shots to win a 3-round decision over McConnell without also knocking him out. It seems tricky to me, right?
Well, McConnell will be harder to find than Brundage was too. Mm-hmm. So if Brundage is getting frustrated with like the range isn't there, he can't cut him off, he might just look bad on that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm taking McConnell. I'm nervous about it because he can get sparked, but I'll take him. He gets it done.
I was about to ask if you're going to take him pre, and then I remember that you can't really live bet.
Yeah. So far, I've only bet his point spread, just on the off chance that we get a greasy split decision and it goes the other way.
What was his spread?
Like plus 120 or something.
3.5?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, plus money on it. Like, I mean, and it's not like you're losing a whole lot on that because he's like plus 200 or something money line right now.
The only time I'll ever try to talk someone off a spread is when it's chalk. Like, here's a great example. Thainara Lemos last week. I was considering a Thainara spread on minus 3.5, but it was like pick 'em, I think, or maybe slight chalk towards Lemos plus 3.5. Anybody who played Lemos plus 3.5 got screwed.
Oh my
And you
God, there was
Yeah.
130-27, right?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are so brutal. Like,
And
There's
that's
no
asshole
reason there
judge.
should have been either.
Yeah, and that's
No
exactly
reason.
why I always say, like, don't play spreads at chalk because you're giving up value. And one bad judge in an environment where we have terrible judging all the time right now is just not a great idea. Plus money spread, I'll never say anything about. I think those could be great bets
And then it
sometimes.
goes the other way, and you're happy. Quick question: what do you guys think about like these props, man? Like, I know we're talking +5.5 plus, but I'm seeing like we talked a little bit about the cardio. I kind of agree. McConaughey's cardio is a little better, and round 2 is like +1600. Round 3 is +2200 on McConaughey for a guy in Johnson who's slowed down and like who's he fought? Dumas not going to finish you. Abbey not going to finish you. Brundage could finish you, but it was a greasy fight. Like, I know McConaughey's not finishing people in the UFC, but he's got fucking power, low key power. I know he's not going to knockdowns, but look who he's fighting. You know, Ruzaboa hard to knock down.
Dante looked bad against Dumas.
I agree, dog. That was a weird ass sub. Like, that shit shouldn't even work. So, you know, what if McConaughey gets on top late and he starts to, you know, I think his jiu-jitsu might be better, low key. You know, I don't know if
Here comes the JB sub. McConaughey round 3 plus 10,000.
Yeah.
if it was plus 10,000, I would do it. It's only plus 5,000, which is a
He
little
knows. He
ridiculous.
knows the
It's a
odds.
little short.
Too short.
That's too short. Plus 5,000 is not good enough.
Of course, you know the price off the
Wait,
top of your head.
Bro,
Of
on
course you
DraftKings,
do.
it's only +1200. That is lame.
For
That's
round 3.
crazy.
For round 3.
No, just straight up McConaughey sub.
Oh,
Yeah. That's like what they have. Most of the books have.
Yeah, it's just
Round
FanDuel that
3
has
sub.
better.
That is spicy.
That's so specific, too.
Nah,
Plus
I'm thinking
5,000.
round 3. I like just the round 2-3. It could be sub though. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it. Like, I think it's KO likely.
Oh, sick. Slick is going.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
I believe
Nice.
we've all gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Another fight that we spent probably a little too much time on. All right. Next up, we've got this one's fun. We have Charles Johnson against Eduardo Chipolin stepping in on short notice, or Eduardo Henrique, depends on what Tapology. I swear yesterday Tapology had Eduardo Henrique and now it's Chipolin again. I don't know,
The
but
sports books have Henrique. Yeah, it's weird.
it's been back and forth. I know Chipolin's his nickname, but either way, JB, why don't you start us off for this one?
Oh, I hate you because I have to film this other dude. So lazy. I'm so sorry. I'm a bum.
You're all
Just-
good, bro. They added this yesterday?
Exactly. And I've been so busy. Bro, but I will say, like, I'll leave a little tidbit on this. I seen Johnson at some fights like 2 weeks before he took a fight, and he was like, I think he was probably drinking, and he's big as fuck, bro. Like, he's taller than Buckley, like by quite a bit of margin. Like, I saw them not next to each other, but they were both walked past me, and I'm like, oh, that's Buckley and that's Johnson, and one's a 185 or 170 and one's a 125 or it takes fights like every couple of months. The fuck are you cutting this weight? And you're like 30-something years old. I think he's kind of playing himself, bro. He's a skilled ass fighter, but like, take your career fucking serious, bro. Like, it's
JB, you been hanging out in Missouri or something?
nah. He was at the fights in Houston. So
okay.
this was Hernandez versus Strickland. And they all pulled up. I think Phil Rowe was on the card versus like John Paul, so that's like their teammate. So they probably were just there to support. And
Yeah, those guys are both Missouri guys, so I was like, what in the world? Okay, that makes sense. All right, never mind.
Yeah, nah, I don't be going to no fucking Missouri, bro. I'm not Tom Sawyer out here, bro. But yeah, I don't have much on this fight. I'm sorry. I'm gonna look into it.
All good, bro.
Yeah, probably dog or pass. I don't trust Johnson at this point. I really, really just don't. But I have to look at the other guy.
Yeah, I like Chipolin here, or Henrique. I'll call him Henrique. It's a little easier than say. I like him here. I felt like Ochoa was probably going to spark Johnson, but like a plus 300 Johnson, like that could be something I'm interested in, you know, against Ochoa, because that's a prime spot where he knocks out Ochoa in the third round, then Ochoa comes back and becomes champion in a year. But you know, at a slight favorite price against Henrique, I don't think that's correct. Like, Henrique's pretty good. I know that he's coming in on short notice. That is less than ideal, but like, for anyone unfamiliar with him, he was LFA champ back before the Ultimate Fighter last season. He comes onto the Ultimate Fighter, has a lot of hype behind him. DC picks him first, loves him, and he comes out there and he gets subbed in the first round against Joseph Morales, and that's where a lot of the hype died. But now look at Joseph Morales. I mean, that guy's a beast. He's a beast, and he's also couldn't be more different than Charles Johnson in terms of how he fights, right? Goes back to LFA, gets a quick knockout, comes onto Contender Series. They give him Antoine Ho, who's one of the better regional prospects at 125. He 30-27s him, shows off grappling, which was his weakness up until that point. He shares that with Johnson. They're both pretty weak in the grappling. He's the one who's coming out and taking Antoine Ho down and winning minutes there, also winning minutes on the feet. And he doesn't get a contract because Dana doesn't even think to consider that sometimes he's putting extremely low-level guys against each other. One of them wins in first-round knockout because the guy he fought is a farmer, like Tyler was talking about. And Dana's like, yes, sick. He got a first-round knockout. That's what we want in the UFC. But he knocked out a farmer. And then you have Chapolin coming out here in 30-27, one of the best American prospects at 125, and no contract. Too boring.
Was also his second fight in 10 days.
Yeah, true. Like, that pissed me off. Like, this guy's clearly good, and DC's clearly hyped about him for a reason, and I like that he's spending time with DC. And again, am I worried about the cardio a little bit? But CJ doesn't really push a pace. He's a guy who, if you push a pace and you don't have the cardio to last, he'll take over in 2-3, sure. But he's not going to push a pace and make you tired, especially not at this stage of his career. And I feel like now that he is declining, I feel like his cardio also doesn't seem that good. And that's been one of his main things is his cardio he's always been very good cardio, very good conditioning. He's good in the late rounds. And I feel like that's diminishing a bit. And I also think the durability is starting to go. He is getting hurt. He's getting hurt more often. The Alex Perez knockout, I was on Perez. That felt great. I thought he could finish, but I didn't expect that. He kind of just ran completely through him. And Chapolin's kind of similar in the way he strikes to Perez. Not the same, but similar. A lot of hooks. He sets them up well, and he's got power. The dude hits really hard for the weight class. So when I look at this matchup, like, of course I could see CJ coming out here, giving a vet lesson and, winning a relatively close decision, but I don't really see a CJ finish, not at a high clip. And with all the concerns I have with him declining, I just don't think this is a good matchup. And I definitely don't think it's one where he should be a favorite personally, even though that Chapolin's coming on short notice. Like, he's fighting a real prospect. And I personally think that Henrique's going to get it done. Whether it's a knockout or a decision, I'm not really sure which way I lean. I think I put decision on my pick, so I'll just go with that. But I think he can knock out CJ too. How about you, Tyler?
I got Chapolin. At least that's what they were calling him the whole time he was on Tough. It's Chapolin with the extra "een." Yeah, I'll take him. Not because I feel good about it. I don't know. I flip-flopped multiple times, but the boys on BTL yesterday did a good job of cementing my Chapolin pick. So I have no idea how this fight's going to play out. You can't, like, predicting a Charles Johnson fight is, I mean, come on. Like, who can really do that? Who can predict the Charles Johnson fight? I sure can't. So yeah, I'll take Chapolin by a method. So I got.
When he knocked out Van, bro, that was so electric. I was on him. That felt so good. That
Broke
felt
my heart,
so
man.
good. I didn't
That was
expect
such
the
a Josh
Kavanaugh
Allen,
one,
man.
though. The Kavanaugh
That
one.
was a decision, bro. That was fucking.
You had CJ decision?
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker.
Sheesh.
My dumb ass should have fucking played.
Dude,
him,
that's
knockout, man.
Josh
Bro.
Pan is such a generational talent. The fact that he lost that fight is insane.
And I'm a huge Kavanaugh guy. Kavanaugh is one of my favorite fighters, especially in flyweight. And Johnson slimed him out. He broke
Just
him mentally.
brutal.
Like, the mental pressure ended that fight. So, yeah, dude, Johnson has some amazing wins. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't have much of an opinion on this one. To be honest, like JB, I still need to tape this guy. But I do remember Chapolin from his Contender Series.
When you said that, I literally
Chapolin, it triggered everything. I was like, oh, yeah, that guy. I'm with you, Mike. I like Antoine Ho a lot. And to watch him, beat him thoroughly, that was impressive to me, despite not getting a contract. You sold me on him, honestly. I heard your argument. I'm with it.
Let's
I
go.
think Johnson too active, just too active. I'm with you, JB, on that. And Tyler, you pointing out Chapolin defended his LFA belt and 10 days later fought Antoine Ho and did that is crazy. So obviously this guy's a real fighter. I'll bet on him for that reason alone.
Yeah, that dude can scrap. So, like, even if there's short notice, like, dude's taking fights 10 days apart. Like, come on, he's ready for this.
All right. Let's move on then. Moving on, we got Chidi Njokuani versus Yoel Alvarez. I believe it's my turn to start it off, and I don't have a strong take. My only strong take is, like, I'm kind of sure this line's a little off. Like, if this fight takes place on the feet, which I kind of expected to, because I don't really see Yoel as much of a wrestler unless he starts mixing it into his game, and he's still semi-young. He's in his early 30s, 33. Yeah, he could improve a little bit still and mix that into his game, but I don't know that he's going to. And if this plays out on the feet, Chidi's still doing the thing. You know, he came out there against Liao. I cashed that Liao decision ticket, all thanks to Chidi surviving. I mean, the dude took, 120 something significant strikes, and he landed 100 of his own. He lost that fight, clearly, but he wasn't completely out of it either. He was competing, and he's a good striker. He hits hard. I think 170 is his proper weight class, and Yoel Alvarez isn't that big, giant guy anymore. You know, at 155, he was that huge dude that you didn't want to stand with, and he was a scary guy. But now he's still scary, but Chidi's scary too, and they're about the same size. I think Chidi might be even taller. Let me check. No, they're the same height. Chidi has a reach advantage, but if this takes place on the feet, I think it'll be close. I just feel like Chidi at 37, probably not going to take the shots as well. He also did just take 100 and something from Liao, and now he has to fight Alvarez, who I do think is good, and I do think he's dangerous, and I really like his clinch game too, and I like how he mixes everything together, and he's super aggressive. So I could see him hurting Chidi. I can see him breaking him a bit. If it does hit the ground, I think the sub could be very, very quick. I mean, the Matthews one was kind of weird, right? He kind of just threw him down and just submitted him. So I'm going to pick Alvarez. I think he gets it done. I think he's the rightful favorite. I just can't help but feel like this line's maybe a little wide. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah. Like you, I got to go with Alvarez, but I got a little more confidence in him than you do. I think he's able to get this fight to the mat if he wants to. Even jumping guard, I think, is fine for him. And I usually hate when people pull guard, but I feel like for Alvarez, it's kind of an exception. Like, there's very few people that I think, like, oh, if this guy jumps guard, it's fine. He's like one of the 3, maybe. I don't know. That's just a number I came up with, but less than 5. I think Alvarez on the feet is dangerous enough that he can get Chidi to kind of even just duck his head a little bit. And that's, you know, that could be it for him there. You know, it's just Alvarez is so slick with the grappling. And Chidi's, I mean, they're both black belts, right? But not all black belts are created the same. So, you know, I think Alvarez has the grappling to beat Chidi. And Chidi doesn't seem to have the same power at 170 as he does at 185. At 170, like I mentioned this on the show yesterday too, like to get to 170 is he's doing it better now, but like the reason Chidi's voice sounds like it is because he cut to 170 back in the day, and like it messed him up so bad. Like his voice just got like changed forever because of it. So like clearly the guy has to give up a little bit of himself to make 170. And it makes it so he's like a bigger guy typically, but he's not really bigger in this sense. Like, I mean, Alvarez could be a middleweight, like based on like his height, you know? So it's like, yeah, I mean, I gotta go with Alvarez here. I think he's going to be able to get a sub at some point, or a TKO, probably sub.
Nate, you were cracking me up today in my YouTube comments. He I guess during my show at some point, instead of saying 30 seconds, I said 30 minutes. And then I said it a second time. I had a long day yesterday. It was hard to do the pod.
This shit was funny as fuck, bro. I'm like,
yeah,
he was on top of him for 30 minutes in the fucking third round. I'm like, what? You must have had a long day, bro.
And I dead ass said it twice too. I just doubled down on it. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Danny, I believe it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in Alvarez finish here just because of the skill gap with the grappling. The jiu-jitsu is that the floor is lava for Chidi. Like, I know that Alvarez isn't a great offensive wrestler, but he's coming off a champ camp. I mean, Islam Makhachev brought him in to train and, you know, kind of simulate a long rangey Ian Gary-esque partner there. So, you know, iron sharpens iron. If he's training with Islam, maybe the takedowns get a little better. Maybe he gets to his positions. And I think he's gone away from the grappling recently. You know, since he moved up to welterweight, he's been much more of a striker. But coming off that loss to Yaroslav Amosov, like, he got thoroughly dominated. I'm not faulting him for that. Amosov is a dark horse title contender. I think in the stupid ass meta rankings, he's like 14. I'm like, yo, Amosov could beat numbers 3, 4. Like, I think Amosov could beat almost anybody in the division. So I think Alvarez wanting to get back in the win column, I think he just goes to his biggest skill advantage, just exploits that area. If he can get the fight to the floor, he could finish it with ground and pound or with a choke. So Chidi's dangerous on the feet. I'm not sleeping on that. Like, if he keeps it standing, he's tough to stand at range with. I just don't think he'll be able to at any point. If it hits the ground, I think the fight's over. I think it's that simple for Alvarez. Really, he's that good. So, and Chitty is that he's 25-12, 7 losses either by ground and pound or by submission. So he just can't afford to hit the mat. Alvarez gets it there, it's wraps.
All right, JB.
I'm fried, brother. Well, I think Chitty's a live dog here. Like, is lying is fucking nuts, bro. Because you're talking about grappling him, but how the fuck is he gonna grapple him when he doesn't shoot takedowns? I'm not trusting one camp with Islam Makhachev, and you mentioned that he's there to imitate an Ian Gary. Is Ian Gary shooting takedowns? Well, maybe he will. We don't know, but it's not really his style, right? He's going to be imitating a long-rangey striker, ready to stand and bang with Chitty and Jaquani. You mentioned in the clinch, that's where he's very good. Who's also very good in the clinch? Chitty, I watched him fight in his last fight against Liao. Bro, this guy is very dangerous in the clinch. I think he's, floor is lava for sure, but how's it going to hit the floor? Pull guard? Does Alvarez really, do that? Yeah, he'll jump a guillotine, but you got to duck your head into the guillotine. That's a low percentage entry for me, especially against you, 138. If it was you, I'd be really, really high. I would be betting, you know what I'm saying? Because this guy's no way he guillotines you, my boy. But look, I think strike for strike, I think Alvarez could certainly clip him. I think he's a little bit quicker. I think his boxing's getting nice too. I think that's where he probably, lands on Chitty, maybe jumps on a club and sub, or he gets into the clinch, comes out to the back, maybe against the cage, starts to throw that hook in. It's going to be bad for Chitty if he starts to get that sequence going. But you have to get them to the mat first. Chitty's got a good sprawl. He's got good elbows. I think he could cut open Alvarez. This is, a guy up a weight where he used to have the size. Now he doesn't have the size. I know we mentioned that, but I do think that's really important. He was out physicaling a lot of these guys, very tall, long. You could get those front chokes against those guys. If they're shorter, they're ducking in. And I'm not his wins, there aren't even that fucking. I'm not super impressed to the point where I need to make this guy a -300 against Chitty. Draker close, old Vicente Luque. Elvis Brenner was good, but I haven't even seen that guy in a minute.
Dude, yeah. Chitty went to a split with Reese McKee.
I know, but Chitty's also plus 300, and he's a solid striker, and he could defend takedowns here. This is not going to be, I think it could be close, man. I think the Muay Thai of Chitty versus the slick outside boxing of Alvarez is what we're going to see in this fight. I think Alvarez is a little more durable. Obviously, the more dangerous grappler. I'm just not sure it hits there, man. And if that's the case, you're giving me plus 260, plus 270 on a guy who could also knock him out. Chitty's dangerous, man. And I think he still holds a lot of power, and he's got great knees as well. I don't think Alvarez is really going to be shooting takedowns here, man. I've never seen it in his career. I don't see any evidence.
He got one against Luque.
No, great. I mean, that's Luque's a solid grappler. I think Chitty's a lot more stout. Big guy. I think he gets stuff the hips. Been training takedown defense his whole life. So
yeah.
Maybe Alvarez is improved, but at 33 years old, I think wrestling's something you got to do when you're young to really get good at.
Also, did we realize that Chitty's 37?
He's older, yeah.
His striking is still solid, bro, and he still holds the power. He went hard 15 with Liao, bro.
Yeah, but he didn't knock out Gooden either, and that's everybody was knocking out Gooden there for a bit.
Yeah, he definitely has sketchy stuff on his record.
I don't know. I guess he knocked out Zaleski, but I don't know. The power hasn't been there for a little while.
That was a good win versus Zaleski, bro.
Yeah, Zaleski was lost in that fight. He was at such a size disadvantage, though. He had no idea how to get inside. He was kind of confused from the opening. I think I was on Zaleski in that one. That was one of the worst bets I've ever lost because I didn't win an iota of it. Not a millisecond did Zaleski look like he knew it was good. But credit to Chitty. Chitty made him look that bad. So
yeah. Yeah, Chitty's still good, but man, he just doesn't at 170. He doesn't have the power like he does at 185. I don't know.
All right, guys, let's move it along. Next up, we've got Edson Barbosa versus Esteban Ribovic. Tower, start us off.
Okay, so I know you're probably thinking I'm going to take another underdog, but I'm not here. Dude, Edson's cleaner. He's the more technical striker. I don't think anybody's going to say that's crazy to say that, but at the same time, it's golly, like I just don't know if he can take the shots coming back his way from Ribovic. It's not like Ribovic is gonna like try to point fight him either. He's gonna throw hands. Let's see. Muhammad Ali took Gooden to decision at 205. Okay, dude. I was like probably the only guy last season on Contender Series that I can think of that was on Evo. Everybody was like, "Oh, this Ali guy's fantastic. Look at his jiu-jitsu, this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Nah, man, Evo's gonna run through him." And he was like +2 something. And I was like, "No, it's like easy win." And it was an easy win. And now look at Evo now. Although he is about to lose because they're giving him the Menafield test. And
You don't think the bonk will work this time?
dude, Menafield just keeps turning prospects back. I've been cashing on that dude as a massive underdog in every single fight, pretty much. I mean, obviously, I lost when he fought Olberg and Murzakanov, but like outside of that, bro's always a big underdog. Come on. But
who was the last one he just beat?
Zhang Mingyang. Yeah.
Yes, I cashed on that as well. And I cashed on him against Dustin Jacoby. He's a good bet, man.
Dude, Menafield, if you've just been betting him, like, because I've bet him in like every single fight since 2022. And like there's some fights I look really stupid betting him, but dude, like he's come through enough that I'm way up on him. Right. Now, I don't think Lorenz is all that good. And I know Nate hates Yakovlev, like hates him. Like he's just like, this guy's terrible. He's like, he's a fraud. He's going to get beat. But like he keeps winning. I think Nate just sits there like shaking his fist at like a poster of him and he throws darts at it and stuff. Cause like Nate's on my Patreon chat. And like, he just like some of the stuff he says, I'm like, oh, he hates this Yakovlev guy. So, but anyway, so he backed Lorenz. I don't think Lorenz is that great, but like Ali's not that great either. So like that could be close. Anyway, back to this one. We got to that because of Jared Gooden. But anyway, back to this fight. Ribovic is probably just going to come out there and throw a lot of volume and more volume than a guy like Barboza can deal with. He doesn't like it when guys pressure him. He struggles with that. This is just a tailor-made bad matchup for Barboza. So Ribovic should be a big favorite. Could you argue the line's wide? Maybe, but I think it's a bad argument. I think it's probably fine.
All right. How about you, Danny?
Yeah, I see it the same way. Just too many miles on the tires for Edson. I mean, he's one of the best kickers in UFC history. I love the switch kick to the body. I love me some Edson Jr. Barboza. But look, yeah, the level is way higher. I just don't think he can get into a firefight and trade with Ribovic. The guy's going to splits with Nasrat Haqparast and Daniel Zellhuber. So I think people will argue for Barboza, making that case. But you get into a fight like that with Ribovic at this point for Barboza, you're gonna get dropped at some point. So how do you bet it though? Because knockout is -185. You have to pick maybe some rounds. Ribovic 2 or 3, I guess, if you think Barboza can come out throwing maybe heavy shots, look decent for 5 minutes, and then maybe the volume accumulates.
Just terrible prices for the 2-3 plus 350 on round 2 is crazy work.
That's it. Yeah.
And I remember when I did that against Terrence McKinney, and he just kicked him in the head in the first round.
Immediate.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that to Barboza. That was a crazy slimery, but too many punches, punch combination. Like Barboza just can't. I don't think Barboza would be able to throw enough to get him off him. So yeah.
All right. How about you, JB?
I think he's going to kick him in the head in round 2. It's not going to be round 1. He's going to kick him dead in his head. Dome piece. Edson leans to the side. He tries to throw that. He's good with his hands, but I feel like he's just too slow at this age. I feel like he could get caught just throwing the naked low kicks. I think he's going to probably press him up the cage, either kick him in the head or just hit him with a big combo, and Edson's going to crumble. And yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know how you even fucking play this, bro. Like,
I don't really think you can.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you because I don't think there's even I think the line's probably where it should be at, and then I'm not going to bet the sub. I would have back in the day, but I've grown.
Why is the UFC doing him like this? He's a legend. He's 40 years old. He's a Hall of Famer in my book. They gave him Jalen Turner, come back from retirement, regain your confidence fight. And now Ribovic, like, this is disrespectful.
Fucked up, for real.
Yeah, brutal.
Justice for Barboza. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Ribovic runs through him. I think he's going to be too much. I'm not a huge Ribovic guy in general, and I think he is really reckless in theory. Barboza does still hit hard, I think. Maybe he can land something big. It's still MMA. But no, I think Ribovic is going to get him out of there. It's just a matter of when. I feel like it's later. I feel like 2 and 3 are the plays. Just like what am I supposed to do with the plus 350 round 2 prop? Put a half unit on it, put a half unit on round 3, put a unit stake, and then like you guys said, Ribovich will come out there and head kick him in the first round like he did McKinney, and I lose a unit for no reason. So I don't think I want that, and I think I'm just going to stay away and pass on this fight.
Well, yeah, and you gotta be curious about, because like the way that Ribovich fights, like I could see it being round 1. Jamie Varner wrote the book on how to beat Edson Barboza clear back in whatever year that was. Like, what year was that? That was 2012. He wrote the book on how to beat him in 2012. It's you just do not let him get an ounce of space, get right up in his face, and overwhelm him. And that's exactly what Ribovich does by default. So it could be 20 seconds into this fight. Who knows? I mean, Varner, it didn't last that long. And what did Jamie Varner ever go on to do outside of, I mean, that's his best win, isn't it? I mean, I can't think of anything better.
That's Barbosa's first loss, too. Wow,
Yeah.
what a throwback.
Some of you guys are probably like, who the heck's Jamie Varner? You know? Exactly. Dude, it's just sometimes it's just the way you fight. And this is a bad matchup for Barboza, even if he wasn't at the tail end of his career.
I agree with that. But we have a quick question before we move on to the very compelling matchup of Mansour Abdulmalik and Stoltzfus. Thoughts on Oral by KO, Ribovich KO, and Alvarez sub. For a long shot parlay, I don't hate it. I would just lean Oral by sub over KO personally. I feel like he might sub. I think he's gonna sub.
I like the Oral by KO.
I agree.
I'm a
KO is
fan.
more for me.
Play
Yeah,
both,
I mean,
maybe.
I think it could be either. I think it could be ground and pound. Like he just wrist rides him, and then it's like fucking what's this dude? Tom Pagladucci. I almost took his fucking sub round 3 too, and I would have fucking went insane because he literally had the rear naked choke, and he was like punching the dude at the same
You're
time.
gonna trigger me, JB.
Alexa
I passed on Pag. He was my read. I passed on Crop Shot. He was my read. And I played Escaraga, and they brought him blind.
Robert.
And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like,
I'm pouring one out for the homie.
JB, speaking of going for a choke and punching, you brought up the Joel Alvarez Jakar close fight.
Yeah.
How about that? He had the front just hammering him. That was nasty work.
Nate Brown is correct. Wells would have to be extremely gassed to give up a sub there. Wells is a far better grappler than Oralbai as far as like jiu-jitsu skills.
I think
like
it's the
MMA
pace that's
grappling,
gonna
no.
do it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a 2-3 sub is what I'm thinking maybe.
I mean, he's going to have to be dead. Like,
But then I did like the under, so then I guess
I can't
maybe I do
imagine
lean
he
KO.
gives up a sub.
Yeah.
If he gives up a sub, I'll be surprised.
I think he only ever got subbed by that Carlston Harris anaconda
Who's
choke out of nowhere.
Insane. Yeah, that guy is his anaconda choke is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oralbai is pretty slick on the ground too, though.
He is.
I know he's just a purple belt or whatever, but
you know what was his last sub? Oh, he had a Kimura. He Kimura'd
I was gonna say he's got some
Musayev
Kimuras and he's got that neck crank too. He just went right across the jaw.
on
It's,
Medic.
it's a cardio thing, you know, because he's
Yeah.
gonna take him down, rinse and repeat. Wells probably gonna come out like a bat out of hell, run into the cage or some shit.
I remember that.
I was there. He was fucking dude. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing, bro? Is this guy
Same.
high? Like, I was like, am I high?
Yo.
was that the
he?
Blood Diamond fight?
Yeah, it was the blood
Blood
diamond.
I
diamond.
remember
so
that
bad.
one.
Too, and I'm like, by
So
sub,
bad.
and I was like, what's he doing? What's he doing?
You remember when Shamil Gaziv ran into the fence head first against who was that Jarzinho? No,
He
he-
headbutted it, didn't he?
I bet him there. That was one of the worst bets I ever made.
Dude,
got her
Jarzinho was the
face
best
jabbed
bet ever.
He was a great bet there. I
Oh.
messed up. But all right, let's move on.
Ridiculous.
Next up, we've got Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Danny, why don't you start us off for this one?
I mean, can we get a line to bet on here? Minus 675 for Mansour. Stoltzfus 3-7 with the UFC now. He's like a journeyman that I feel like they're giving their pink slip fight to. Mansour got, I don't want to say level checked against Yusuf Belguri. You know, Belguri was better than people gave him credit for. You know, it turns out Belguri's pretty good. Mansour didn't manage his gas tank right. He was fading away. And I think he comes back improved. Obviously, books do too. Stoltzfus, what's he going to do? Like, what's his path to victory in this fight? I know he's a pretty tricky grappler. He's a tough guy. He got that slam on Joe Pyfer. You know, yeah, I know Pyfer broke his arm on it or whatever, dislocated, but it was caused by Stoltzfus, so he gets the credit for it. So, you know, he's got talent. He's got grappling skill. Maybe he could take Mansour's back. But outside of that, He would have to sub him to beat him, in my opinion. Mansour's just way more physical, way more powerful. He's intimidating at range too. I think he'll walk him down, kind of pick his spot really, and land a punch that just ends this fight. I don't see Stoltzfus surviving Mansour for 15 minutes.
Makes sense. How about you, JB?
Yeah, kind of with my boy Brasco here. I just think Stoltzfus is just too slow. Like he's gonna getting hit a lot here. Like, and I think early and often. So he's gonna get slept or like shoot into a guillotine or something. I wanted to play the Mansour KO as like plus 100. It's like minus 105 now. I might be able to get plus 100. And I know it's Trockley, but that was a decent guillotine, bro. You know, like I'm not saying play the sub, but I'm kind of scared. So then I gotta look at like Mansour minus 160 ITD. And I don't really like that either, man. Like, because he's coming off a really bad KO loss. Stoltzfus, he's a mangy dog, you know, to quote my man Clint. My guy Clint, that's what he calls it. He's just a fucking dude that'll grease a fight out, you know. Somehow he finds a way into it. His cardio is just there. I don't know how he finds these wins sometimes. And I do agree kind of with my man Brasco. Like, even if he hurt him, I think he'd have to jump on the sub, something like that, or get to the back. Like, for what Stoltzfus is, his jiu-jitsu's pretty fucking good. And Mansour could slow down later in the fight. I don't think Stoltzfus is a cardio king either. So, yeah, he'd have to get takedowns. And I think Mansour's just going to stuff him bad and land big early and often and finish him probably in round 1 or 2.
You can get Mansour inside the distance at minus 145 now.
Where?
DK's got it.
I kind of like that.
Somebody else has it too.
Just to cover the guillotine, you know? Because like I think people are
Hard
going to be
Rock has it.
with KO.
Yeah, Hard Rock and DraftKings have it.
I might even sprinkle a little on the sub. What's it, like 7-1, bro? That to me is pretty solid. On a bet I've bet before, I'm trying not to go all subs, right? I don't think I've taken that many yet.
Yeah,
Like what, like 14 of them or something? There's not even that many fights. JB's like, I've only played the sub on every fight. It's not that many, right?
No, it's not. It's really not this time. I don't know if I've taken any. All right, Orabai, I think could get one, but I lean like maybe ground and pound, either or, and like 50-50. Ramirez probably gets a front choke if he wins, but I think sneaky, he could get a KO. We didn't talk about that fight, plus like 850. Magny's fucking shot chin, I think. But Magny could win also, so I'll go back to that at the end. Tobias, I think, could get a sub, but I didn't go into that. Didn't call him to get the sub. This is the first fucking sub I'm calling, bro. I think
take it.
I'm not calling it outright, but I think plus 700 could hold some value on a guy who's like minus 160 to win inside the distance. He's pulled subs off recently. I think he can get on top and even take the back. I've seen this dude give up his back and get sub before. I know it was Vieira and Meerschaert, but yeah, dude, I think it could happen. I think he's way more physical. I think he could even take him down and just outright sub him, like process, like he's just way more fucking athletic and physical.
All right. Before I go, Q low key, brother. I saw it the first 2 times. We haven't even finished breaking down the fights yet. So ask again at the end, but this is also MMA. There's no locks, and you can also tell what the probably most confident picks are going to be by looking at the fight odds and seeing the minus 600s. Those are probably going to be it.
The only limits I put is on my bagels.
JV, how smacked are you right now?
We're just having fun, dog. I love it, and I love being here with my people. Like, it's cool to enjoy
Let's
time
go.
with people. Like my man, 13 MMA, he be posting all the fucking reposts and shit. Reposting all my people. It's super love. My boy Mike, he does it for the love of the game. Always shouting out everybody in the comments. My man, always down to have me on the pod, and my man Brasco, the legend, the guy I started this shit with. A lot of people don't even know that, and now my man is on podcast with my guy Chael Sonnen and Rashad Evans.
Let's go.
Praise God. I love being here with all y'all, and wouldn't rather have it any other way.
You're the man, JB. But all right. For me, you guys know me. I'm a big Stoltzfus guy. I've always liked him. He's just awesome. Like, he comes out there, he gives it his best. He fights hard. I remember I was on Piper against him. That hurt. I think it was like pick him or like slight plus money. and I was on Piper, and then he just gets the injury, and it's so crazy in hindsight. But yeah, he's a dog. He can grapple very well. He's a solid wrestler. His jiu-jitsu is very good. When he gets on top, he has good control, but his striking's just okay. Serviceable, meat and potatoes, and not a terrible way, but it's nothing special. Has decent pop to his punch, but not a lot of power. And I just don't think he really has the skill set to beat like Mansour. Like I just have a hard time seeing him come out here and just out grappling Mansour for 15 minutes. And I definitely don't think he's going to replicate what Belgori did. What Belgori did was have phenomenal takedown defense, and he just outstruck him. And it was a massive, massive step up for Mansour. But now he's kind of taking a step down. They're giving him a little bit more of a slow build up, and I think Stoltzfus should get through. I think it's probably ITD. I'm just not very confident about it. So I'm probably going to pass, but I'm going to think about it a little bit more. Tyler, I believe it's your turn.
Yeah, just want to throw out my locks. Stoltzfus, Barbosa, and Wells. All three of them, lock, parlay, gonna hit.
Fire.
Now it's going to actually hit.
Dude, if that hit, that'd be insane. I'm clipping just that and like claiming it was dead serious.
Barbosa Darce.
Now you're talking, Daz.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you're talking.
That's something Couch can get behind.
You want to hear something even crazier, bro?
Yeah.
2-3 at some bananas numbers. Just bananas numbers, bro. Like I think it's what is the number? 27-1 and 33-1. That's huge, bro.
It's not bad.
You just got
think
finished
he's
in
gonna
round
die.
3. That's bad. I know it's Belgori, but
JB, from now on, whenever you come on the panel, you have to face a joint every single time because this is great. This is great.
Stoltzfus by Amish choke. He's about to churn Mansour away.
Man.
All right, Tyler, go, brother.
Okay.
Finish your breakdown.
So if Stoltzfus like subbed him, I wouldn't be like completely surprised, but I would be kind of surprised. Because like I know a lot of stock fell off from Mansour after the Belgari loss, but like, do we think it goes any different with Dustin? I think I guess the only thing I think would be different is Dustin wouldn't last as long. Like Mansour could take a punch. Like he took way too many. Yeah, I don't think Mansour is like world champion level. But I don't think you have to beat Dustin Stoltzfus. You know what I mean? You were just saying the ghost of Kelvin Gastelum beat him, you know? So, like, yeah, Mansour probably beats him. Probably knocks him out. He hits really hard. He's wide open to be encountered, but, like, I don't think Stoltzfus has it. Another thing to keep in mind here is Stoltzfus usually is an extreme couture guy. That's where he gets his camps in. Same with Mansour. Dustin stayed in Germany to do his training camp for this one. Who's he training with in Germany, dude? There's like, come on.
There's
Name
that one
other,
camp. What's it called?
There's one other German fighter I can name, and that's Abus
I
Magomedov.
was about to make a really
I was gonna
poor
say.
joke.
What about
Let me just, he said Camp Germany. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, jeez. You took it there, buddy. You took it there.
Matthias Scheffel?
Jeez, dude.
No.
Yeah. What's that? I guess there's that Patrick guy. Patrick from he's been PFL. I want to say Haribo.
Aurora?
It's like the
Right.
yeah. I always want to say like Haribo, but that's like the gummy bears, right? It's not that. But yeah, but there's not like a lot of like places like I don't imagine he's getting good work in Germany. Sure, he's got a skill base that he's built up. I just don't think it's it. Mansour probably crushes him.
All right, moving on. We've got a fun matchup now. We have Jalen Turner versus Cowie Fernandez. JB, start us off.
Yeah, these fights are like a lot more fucking exciting. I know this is kind of like a shite pay-per-view, but at least these fights are fucking like somewhat competitive in my opinion. Like I fucking dive a little deeper into them. This is a fun matchup in my opinion. I think Turner, if he's half of what he was before the retirement, should fucking smoke Cowie Fernandez in the first 2 rounds. If it gets out, yeah, facts, bro. If it gets outside of that, though, I do start to worry a little bit. I don't know if Cowie is like a fucking cardio king, but it's just I know Jalen Wiltz. I've seen it in a lot of the fights. I know it was against like high level lightweights and stuff. Like he can go a hard 3, but if it hits the scorecards, I'm a little finicky that he covers his price tag. So yeah, I think he's gonna spark this dude, bro. I think this dude's gonna be trying to throw low kicks, stop the, chop the skinny legs of Turner, and I think when he's doing that, he's going to leave himself open. And then what else is he going to do? He's going to start throwing hands. I don't think he has the skills to really mix together like the grappling, the striking. I don't think he's going to offensively take down Turner early in this fight. Maybe he could later off a scramble. I think Turner's more dangerous in the jiu-jitsu, especially early. He's could hurt him, jump on the back. We've seen him do that. I know it's been a couple of fights, but he's super long and lanky for the weight class, so that's why he's able to do that. He gets a lot of power on the right hand. Should have knocked out Renato Moicano, but fucking absolutely fumbles the bag. So, yeah, man. I know it was Barbosa. It was a decent win. When you had the sub loss against Bahamondes, I was on the sub there. I had a lot more on sub 2-3. I thought it was going to take a little while, and he kind of just gave up. That was weird, so I don't like that. Maybe I play like round 1-2 props for Turner. I think the round 1 was like plus 300. I think that's like mainly his fight path. I think early, maybe round 2 at plus 550 is pretty good too. And yeah, I think it could be either method.
All right. Yeah, for me, so I was very unsure about this one when I did my pod yesterday. I literally switched my pick live on air twice. I went from Turner to Cowie and then back to Turner. I haven't retaped it yet. The plan is to do it tomorrow morning, but it's just hard for me to be confident. I don't know if Turner should be. He's not that much big of a favorite now. The line kind of came in. He's like minus 145, even less on some books, minus 137 on Bet Online. Like the line's getting tight, and at that point, I do think Turner's probably the side. I think he's overall more skilled than Cowie. I just think that people are kind of maybe underrating Cowie a little bit. People are making it sound like all he has is leg kicks. It's like, yeah, he has really good leg kicks, and they're very dangerous, sure. But he's got pretty sharp hands, too. Like when he fought Guram and when he stunted on Guram, he didn't just leg kick him. He leg kicked him, but he also beat him up with his boxing, too, a little bit. So, and we were talking about bets earlier, like when we played props and not the money line. Dude, that pissed me off so much. Like, pissed at myself because I was like, Cowie Fernandez should not be plus 300. Guram's looking a bit washed. And I only played the KO props. He almost knocked him out multiple times, but I didn't play the freaking plus 350 money line. Then he gets the decision. But I think he's pretty sharp, Cowie. I think he's a sharp striker. And I feel like, so far we've only really seen him struggle with grapplers. And Turner's very good with the jiu-jitsu. It's just he's not much of a wrestler. He's not really coming out here and shooting takedowns. And maybe he can. I just don't know if he's going to really take Cowie down. And then on the feet, I think we know Turner's bigger. I think he hits a lot harder, at least with the hands. Probably has the better boxing. I just don't know that he's going to pull away unless he gets the knockout. I feel like if he doesn't knock out Cowie early, which he very well might, if he doesn't, I feel like it's going to play out pretty close. And Turner doesn't throw a ton of volume over 15 minutes. Again, he's not wrestling offensively for 15 minutes. So he's not an amazing minute winner in my eyes. Whereas I think Cowie Fernandez is probably a little bit of a better minute winner on the feet. So I'll pick Turner just with very, very little confidence. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I got Cowie Fernandez by sub. I think
and like sub? Did we just switch like souls or something, bro?
You said wait, you said Cowie by sub?
Yeah, you said Cowie by sub. That's what I'm saying. What just happened? Did we?
Dude, he can grapple, and I feel like he's going to be able to, start off chomping at the leg, right? Get that shoot up a bit. Something people forget: Cowie Fernandez is 100% takedown accuracy in the UFC. 100%.
JB's losing his shit right now.
I want to know serious, bro. What is this? He only shoots when he knows he's going to get it. And I feel like he can take this dude down and he can sub him. I think he's going to chew up the leg first like he does. That's just kind of what he does on the feet. I think he's got good enough hands that he can, land some shots up top. I know like Turner's taller, but I think a lot of times in people's heads when they picture like the size difference, they picture him like 2 feet taller. You know what I mean? But like it's not that big of a difference. Like he's taller, but it's not like he's going to be looking up at him like that. You know what I mean? Like that's like, for example, I got a buddy, DJ Jones, that played offensive lineman in the NFL, right? And when I stand next to him, I have to look up like this, right? Because like I'm 5'8" and he's like 6'5", and I feel like I'm like what, like but the discrepancy here isn't that much, and also like the UFC like heights are off, like they're never right. So, but either way, I think Fernandez can sub him at some point. I think he's going to hurt the leg enough that it gets Turner walking a little gingerly, and then he's out. You can get at least as of yesterday, you could get sub for over plus 1,000. Just
plus 1,000. I thought it was
just
going to be like plus 2,000. What has this guy ever got? Has he gotten any subs? Like,
I mean, it's been a while pre UFC, but he's gotten subs. Yeah. Let's see. He's got arm bars twice.
I bet it. Bahamadas didn't have that many subs, and I bet it against them.
Mhm.
I also bet the 2-3 a lot. At 2-3 sub, I felt like a dumbass. So maybe don't bet the 2-3 sub, bet the sub. You know?
Yeah, just take a plus 1,000. Take it. He's got. I mean, his 11 wins. 2 of his 11 wins are subs, and they're both arm bars. So like, but dude, Turner's
also
got long, gangly arms, man.
I forgot to mention this, but when somebody, I think it was Nate in the chat, he wrote the thing about bloodline. I didn't know that with Turner, so I went to go look.
Yeah.
You guys see he got bit by a snake 2 weeks ago?
What? No.
Yeah, like let me see if I can share this.
What
Hold
kind
on.
of snake? Oh no,
I have no idea. Hold on. Let me
Crazy.
see.
Like people are like, oh, he's got, you know, the pimple on his chest. Does he have staph infection? This guy's got a
Look at
snake
this.
bite.
Look at this.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Oh nah, he's about to be.
I mean,
venomous.
it looks like he's all right.
That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he looks happy about it almost, but
Yeah, must not have been venomous, like but yeah,
Bro, I remember Dan Hooker took this motherfucker's back too. So yeah, you might be honest.
dude, Fernandez is good on the ground, man. Like people like think of him only as this leg kick guy, but like, dude, he can grapple. Like I know he doesn't shoot a lot of takedowns, but when he does, he times them. Like he's 100% on takedowns. Just saying.
you just made JB's week, bro. You just made his week.
Yeah, give me Fernandez stuff. I've already played it actually, so yeah.
All right. How about you, Danny?
I'm fairly. People think I'm crazy, and maybe I am, but I'm fairly confident in Turner. I like Turner money line a good deal here, just because if he look that his Achilles heel has been the jiu-jitsu defense. Like the Bahamondes lost, he's gotten subbed a couple times. He lost those splits to Hooker and Mateus Gamrot. I actually felt he won both of those fights, especially the Gamrot one on damage over control. But and then the Bahamondes loss, also the Moicano loss. He dropped him. He didn't follow up with ground and pound, and then he ends up on bottom. Moicano finishes him. Like mental mistakes and a couple tough results just totally changed the career trajectory for Jalen Turner. He's 15-9. Like that's a gross record, But he's fought Dan Hooker, Mateus Gamrot, and not the Moicano, like really high level guys. So to me, I'm just feeling like Fernandez's stock is a little too high. I do think he's good. He's a Nova União guy. No, there's no bad fighters in Nova União. But Harry Hardwick, Muhammad Yahya, Guram's good. I actually rate Guram. So that's a good win. But the other guys who he's just devastating their lead leg, or he's throwing a lot of these looping hooks around the guard, he's popping guys with. I feel like Turner could hit him with straight punches down the center. And Turner can also fight from both stances. He goes southpaw a lot. So if Fernandez wants to fire those outside low kicks, if they're not there to the inside, or it's just a different look for him, and maybe the kicking game gets neutralized a little bit for that reason, then I think Turner could have a lot of advantage if he's moving forward and throwing the straight punches down center line. So I feel like Tyler, your rating of Fernandez's grappling is higher than I've heard from anyone's. And obviously, the record doesn't necessarily show it, but that is my fear for Turner. That's where he struggled. But I just feel like coming back, the retirement is what he needed. Like he was just mentally not right. And someone said in the chat, he found God. It better not ruin him. I don't know if finding God ever ruined anyone. More power to him, whatever that means for his own life. And how
it had, who was it? Rory McDonald, right?
Maybe Brian
that's
Ortega.
true.
Brian Ortega. But, it's their life. It's not, there's more than just fighting.
It's different with each person, man. It's not, and he knocked out Barboza, it didn't hurt him there,
So, it's really a question of Turner's mind. And if his mind is right, he's a matchup nightmare. He's 6'3", 77-inch reach. He's huge for the division. I'll take him to win just because I've seen him fight way higher level guys. But, man, I'll be impressed if Fernandez beats him. That's for sure.
Sub is crazy. I got to look into that now.
Well, another thing, too, like, look back at Kawei's, like, guys he beat before the UFC. The guys he was beating in the LFA are better than, pretty much anybody he's fought in the UFC so far, except for maybe Diakese, because that dude was just so good at just squeaking out split decisions.
Mark Khabib
Yeah, exactly. Like Kawe, like before the UFC, he beat a lot of guys that were better than everybody except for Diakese, I would say. Because Diakese just turned into Khabib towards the end of his career.
He was like a crazy, unpredictable kickboxer, spinning attacks, and then he was like, you know what? I'm gonna win control-based decisions.
Lay and pray. Yeah, 100%. It was the weirdest change, but yeah, like take a look at Kawe pre UFC. His head, well, I mean, there was only 45-second fight, but beating Felipe Douglas, that guy's good. Like that guy's darn good. I don't know much about the guy he beat before that, but that's his only loss is Kawe Fernandez, so that's pretty good. But like, yeah, I mean, like he's not bad. Like he was beating some guys in LFA that were darn good. So yeah, I think he's there. Plus, like, man, Turner before retiring, he was like what 1-4 in his last 5 fights, and
it
then
was
he retired.
It was bad, yeah.
Yikes!
Maybe live entry for Fernandez, in my opinion, especially with where the line's at.
Maybe,
now.
yeah.
I do.
If he gets past round 1.
I love bloodline combat. So I know it's just one camp there, but whatever Cub Swanson is doing there is working. Those guys are dazzling right now. So hottest gym right now on the block.
It reminds me of like 4 ounce, but like out in wherever California.
Yeah,
you know,
in California.
I feel like 4 ounce only has like 2 guys though. It's like Van and Coria.
And
no, for sure. I just meant
Aswell's all right.
We got some other guys coming up too. There's some good guys coming out of that gym still.
Chapman's fighting. I know he's just like he's just got to fight Witt, but it's just like I just meant the sense of Pineda is like a old school like guy. They're both very similar. I think they fought each other too. And that's maybe why I'm thinking of it. I think Pineda fought Cub. So yeah.
They got Larry on Douglas. They got even that kid that just lost to Manuel Souza, Richie Miranda. I was impressed with him in that loss. Kid is tough as nails.
I was on him there. I was okay with that bet. I would make that bet again.
Yeah.
I mean, had he had a full camp, I maybe would have considered it. But like, yeah, dude, Souza's just such a hard debut on short notice, man. Like,
I took Souza by finish. I could not believe that he couldn't get him out. It's Miranda's. I will be betting Miranda in his next fight. I'll tell you that much.
He's tough as fuck.
Yeah, Miranda's tough. He wrestled University of Nebraska Kearney, so like he's I like to pretend that he's a hometown guy for me, but he's not from here, but he wrestled here. So yeah, in college.
But all right, moving along. We've got our co-main event, first title fight. We've got 2 of them for this card. We got Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. I'm going to be starting us off here, and honestly, guys, I don't know. I'll tell you who I'm going to pick. It's Dern. I just feel like it is going to be a very tricky fight for Robertson. She's never gone 5 rounds. That's the first thing. I don't think she's going to have a problem with the cardio, and I lean towards her being A-okay in the late rounds and possibly maybe even looking like better than Dern, because Dern against Jandiroba was tired in the 4th and 5th. She won those rounds, but that's probably because Jandiroba got even more exhausted and also had never fought 5 rounds. Or I think she might have once pre-UFC. But regardless, I do think Robertson's going to be okay in the cardio department, but that's one concern. The other concern is what's Robertson strongest at? It's her ground game. She likes to get those takedowns. I do think she's the better wrestler here. I think she's got the better takedown defense. So I think she's going to be the one who's more capable of dictating where the fight takes place. I just don't know if she's going to find somewhere where she's comfortable. Because when I look at the Verna Jandiroba fight, Jandiroba takes her down and she's pretty much never comfortable. And Jandiroba can't really get any kind of offense off, not ground and pound, not subs, because Dern is just throwing things up, whether it's the elbows or punching her or throwing up submission attempts. And every single time, Jandiroba kind of ends up giving up and just letting her back up on her feet. And Jandiroba, in my opinion, is probably better in the jiu-jitsu department than Robertson is. I'd say she's probably the second best in the division right after Dern. And she was able to stay safe. I'm a little worried that I don't know if Robertson can, right? So that's another thing. I think she might be okay, but I think she's going to be uncomfortable. But then if she's uncomfortable and she's letting Dern back up to the feet, can she outstrike Dern? I'm fairly certain that she can't. That's like my main thing with Robertson is her striking. Like, I feel like we've been saying that it's been getting better for years, and I frankly don't think it's gotten any better. Maybe a little bit over the years, but it's like she's got a solid jab, solid 1-2, decent combinations, but like the way she closes distance is not great. Same with Dern. Dern has terrible striking defense, really bad. I mean, she'll just close the distance, jump in with her chin like this, but Robertson's not going to make her pay for it, whereas Dern can actually hit pretty hard. She's not knocking anybody out. I get it, but she very clearly has pop to her punch, and she is the better striker here. So I'm going to lean to the Dern side, but I'm also not – I can't be a proponent of Dern minus 2XX pretty much ever, unless she's fighting like a really low-level fighter. I just don't think she's that type of fighter. I think she's too willing to play off of her back. Her takedown defense really does stink, partially because she wants to be there, but partially because it's just not good. And her own striking's also not good. Like it's better than Robertson's in comparison. She's the better striker, yes. But in terms of the rest of the division, I think she's a pretty poor striker too. So I think it's dog or pass. I'm really tempted on Robertson. Had it stayed at plus 200 or maybe a little bit better, I think I would have done it. But now that the money's been coming in, I might just end up passing. I don't hate fight goes either. It's a little chalky and a little scary because Robertson's never been in 4 and 5, and maybe she does fall off and doesn't have the cardio. But like I think I saw like minus 145, minus 150 on fight goes. I feel like that's pretty good. When I think overall, I don't really see anybody knocking anybody out. And I think Robertson is probably going to have the submission defense to survive against Dern on the ground. So, yeah, dog or pass for me. I'll pick Dern, though. How about you, Tyler?
So I'm going to preface this by saying, yeah, sure, I'll pick Dern. But Dern is something of an anomaly because if you look at just the numbers, she's miserable at everything. Like she's literally below the divisional average at every single thing except for submissions per 15 minutes. Like significant strikes landed per minute, below average. Striking accuracy, below average. Strikes absorbed per minute. She absorbs more than average. Striking defense, worse than average. Knockdowns per 15 minutes, worse than average. Takedowns per 15 minutes, worse than average. Takedown accuracy, worse than average. Takedown defense, worse than average. Like literally everything except for submissions per 15 minutes.
Can we go into like her personal life too now? You just want to like nah like she's like, just a terrible person.
No, what I'm saying is it doesn't make any sense. She's somehow ended up winning the championship by being worse than average at everything pretty much, and somehow she's winning fights. It doesn't make any sense on paper. So like if you look at just the numbers, you're like, well, like let me compare, okay, right? Because if we looked just at the numbers for Jillian, and like I haven't dove into this too much. Strikes landed per minute, Jillian's below average too. But for striking accuracy, she's above average. Strikes absorbed, she's above average. Defense, she's above average. Takedowns per 50 minutes, she's above average. Accuracy, she's above average. Her takedown defense is below average. Submissions, she's above average as well. So it's like, if you're just looking at the numbers, like Jillian should win. But at the same time, nobody thinks Jillian's going to win. Like I haven't heard a single person say Jillian's going to win. And I'm not a numbers guy, right? I don't think that like the numbers totally tell the story of the fight. But man, when you look at one being better than average in just about every category except for like 2 of them, and wherein the other person is worse than average in everything but one, it's like, why does this make sense? I can't make it make sense. I think Dern's going to win. I don't think she's necessarily I've heard a lot of people saying that Dern's the better striker. I don't think she's the better striker. I think she just eats a lot of punches with her. She might be more durable. The girl can take a beating. I will tell you that. Dern can take a beating and keep coming forward. So she has that, but it's like, I think Dern wins, and I don't know why I think she wins, and I can't put it into reason. So it doesn't make a lick of sense.
That's literally how I feel, bro. I feel like I also can't really explain it to myself.
It doesn't make sense. So like, I would say dog or pass, but it's just got to be pass because like none of it makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Jillian should win if you look at the numbers, and then you got to like rank it level of competition and stuff like that. So whatever, but like Dern's just like below average at everything on the numbers, and I don't know of a single other fighter that's ever won a championship and has that stat. Like that's crazy. Like how do you get to a world championship and win it?
Maybe Matt Serra.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But even then, no, I can't imagine he's below on everything. Like the only thing Dern has above average is submissions per 15 minutes. That's crazy. Because Sarah probably was probably higher than average and maybe like
takedowns, I think.
Takedowns.
I'm looking at his numbers.
Knockdowns. Yeah.
I think maybe knockdowns, but nothing else. Everything else is really
bad. Okay. There you go. So Matt Serra and Mackenzie Dern. That's a good trivia question. What 2 UFC champions were below the divisional average in all but one stat? Like there you go. Right. It's nailed that trivia question. All right. Anyway. Yeah. I won't rant too much more. I'll take Dern for the sake of a pick because that's what we're doing here, but don't like it.
All right. How about you, Danny? What are you thinking?
Yeah, man. I like Dern decision. I am a little worried about a potential for a late submission because we haven't seen Robertson in championship rounds. But I agree with Tyler's sentiment. I think Robertson is the better technical striker, like the way her stand-up presents, the 1-2s, the low kicks, right? But Dern is the more effective striker. Like, she's always been sloppy. She's always striking defense always been terrible, but it's come a long way. She's been training with Jason Perillo for like every time they bring that up on the broad. Jason Perillo's got her hands crispy. They say it every time on the broadcast for a Dern fight. It's finally getting like a little better. You talked about like her power. She could fire an overhand right. She could thump with that. And she just uses her durability and pressure to march forward. Her takedown offense, not good, but the scramble ability, like Tyler, you talked about fighters who you would be okay with pulling guard earlier in the show, right? One is Joel Alvarez. 2 is Mackenzie Dern. 3 is who? Charles Oliveira? I don't know. I don't know if there's a 4. Patty Pimblett? I don't even know if you put him there. But
yeah, I'd take Patty on that.
You know, maybe there's not a 5. But in any case, Dern is 1. And I just feel like Mike, you talked about the Jandy Roba fight. I rewatched that fight, and like whenever Jandy Roba landed a takedown, Dern it wasn't necessarily the arm bars or the triangles that were putting her in dire straits every time. It was those butterfly hooks that she would get up right away. And then Jandy Roba was just floating on top, just trying to hold on to top control, but never comfortable, just kind of floating above. She can't start punching or posturing up because Dern can just pop back up. But so if Robertson's takedowns don't count for much, and then Dern pushes it deep, and she's the one moving forward in 4 and 5. The grapplers neutralize each other. We get a wonky striking affair a little bit. I favor Dern for that, for the cardio and the durability and just the championship experience. Even though it's one fight, I've seen her do it, and I've never seen Robertson do it. So I just feel like it's a decent stylistic matchup for Dern to make a title defense. There's a lot of fighters that are going to beat her in this division. I don't know if Robertson's one of them. So I'll take Dern decision. I'll hold my breath, but I'm definitely curious to hear what JB thinks because he's the women's grappling specialist.
All right, JB, what do you think?
I love this fight, bro. But how is she gonna hold her down, bro? Because she's moving all the time. Like, it's gonna be arm bars back to the, knee bar to the roll. She's gonna grampy. She's gonna go to the back. She's gonna throw up another arm bar. It's like how you hold her down. You got to find those camping positions, and it's hard to do against a jiu-jitsu ace like that. Could she find maybe some damage in that time? I think that's how she starts to, because she's gonna secure takedowns, in my opinion. She wants the takedown. She's gonna get it, no problem. It's like, what does she do from there then? Like, gotta get to half guard, maybe stuff her a little bit, get the head under the chin. I think Jillian's very underrated in how she does that. She understands what we call camping positions, right? You need those in, when you land damage, person's going to try to get up. You got to get back to a certain position. It's what Islam's so good at, and he knows his position so well, where to expend that energy. We'll talk about that later. Jillian's great at it as well. She could damage these lower level women, but like when your opponent's inverting, and how do you get the damage off? Like, I just don't. It's tough, man. It's a really tough task for her. But can she mix the full game of mixed martial arts? That's the question. This is a mixed martial arts fight, right? You mix in the takedowns, then the striking gets better. You mix in the striking, then the jiu-jitsu gets there. Like, Jillian will just jump on a no-hooks rear naked choke. Like, she doesn't give a fuck. Like, she's probably not going to get it, but maybe it fucking forces Dern to panic and then loses some energy. She gets back up, back in the clinch. Maybe she doesn't take her down. Maybe Dern pulls guard. Maybe she stays safe and gets back up. Lands little damage, stays safe, gets back up. And Dern's just so willing to play on her back. Okay, stand back up. Like, Dern's got this sloppy striking, just throwing big overhands. Jillian stays calm. 1-2, good game plan. Dean Thomas in the corner. Let's just push her up against the cage. Let's not avoid the jiu-jitsu. I think he's going to come in with a good game plan for Jillian Robertson, actually. Like, Dean, talk about jiu-jitsu people in MMA. Dean Thomas, OG legend, and I think a very smart coach, underrated. Tough task, though, man, with that jiu-jitsu, and I don't think she's a fucking terrible striker, Mackenzie. I think it's improving, but it's still, like, it's not her base, It's not her base, and this is MMA. How's the overall game going to go? So I cannot advocate for a bet on Mackenzie Dern in this fight. Simply, you just can't do it. I also have a bet. I know some other cappers said it earlier this week as well, but I didn't even play this because I looked at it. I have a guy that I go to strictly. I know it's not Narco Cop. It's another guy. I don't know if he'd want me to say his name, but I played Jillian Robertson to be the not heavyweight. Holy crap, strawweight champ, heavyweight champ, Jillian Robertson. And yeah, I love her because she also smokes too, low key. So like, kind of maybe a little biased, but I actually think she could pull it off. But I lean Dern. I think Dern should probably be like minus 150 here though. It's like
I agree with you, JB.
her path is the sub. Like if it's not a sub, it's gonna go to decision. I think. What is she gonna top time Jillian? No, she's probably gonna be playing off her back for a lot of it. And then if not, I think it's like just sloppy 50-50 striking where maybe Mackenzie lands the more power shots, more dangerous for sure, and like the finishing aspect. But yeah, let's see what happens, man. I'm praying for my bet, and I'm not hedging either because she could also fight again at the end of the year. And if it's against Whaley, I'm definitely probably fucked.
Anybody know what we got for the point spread for Jillian?
Let's take a look.
Imagine she's
Yeah.
sub.
Robertson plus 5.5, minus 115.
That's not bad, really. I know it's minus 115, and Couch is gonna hate that, but like, come on. Like, when has Dern won a clean like 50-45 outside of like Angela Hill?
I don't hate it actually.
Plus
Yeah.
9.5, minus 145. One round from one judge there.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, come
She
on.
doesn't get sub.
One round from one judge.
Oh no, sorry,
what?
that would be plus 13.5.
Oh, plus 13. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. Yeah. I
We'll
mean,
see.
either way, I feel like, man, I think like those spreads are pretty good.
They're
Yeah, I
gonna
don't-
be grappling. You're gonna be
That I
sweating.
don't
Though,
hate.
because they're gonna be grappling and shit, and like in that process, bro.
She
There's
could
a
sub her.
very-
Yeah, it could be. We could also be judging rounds based on like Robertson has the control, like you mentioned, JB, like little damage, but then Dern throws up a triangle. Oh, she's stuck in it. She escapes out, but was the danger of the subs
Or the
scored
fight's
more
over.
than the control time? You know, it'll be weird rounds like that.
Yeah, we only need a couple of judges though at that point. Like, we don't need a whole lot.
Sal
Yeah.
D'Amato scores the fight, whatever you didn't bet on.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
as long as
seriously.
Chris Lieben's not scoring any more fights, man.
Bro, Sal is up. Like, I needed a contact at the FBI. Sal and who's the other? And Adelaide Bird. They need to be on the take. I know.
Watching Adelaide Bird during fights is always so funny. She's just sitting there. You can tell she's not paying any attention.
You know what? The key with her. I don't know if you can how soon in advance you can get judge information before the fight. I don't think it's publicly put out like well before
It's
like
not,
the referees are. But Bird used to ref boxing. She will always favor a striker over a grappler. If there's a stylistic clash and you know Bird is on the judges, take the striker. If he jabs one time, none of the control time matters. So yeah, that's my Adelaide Bird angle.
You'd have to know
I like
somebody
it.
on the commission that could let you know. Then you could get it. So if you got in good with like somebody on the commission, they could tell you who's reffing.
But all right, boys, let's lock in. We got one more. We got the main event. We are almost at 2 hours. We're doing good. We got
Oh, yeah.
Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary. Tyler, I believe it's your turn to start us off.
Yeah, Islam's the best fighter on the planet. I don't see any way that he's losing to Ian Gary here. I mean, I guess it's possible. It's an MMA fight, but like, I mean, I feel pretty good. Islam's going to win it.
Those
Don't
are
get me
famous
wrong.
last words, my brother.
Look, okay, here's what I'm seeing. All right. Ian Gary's going to do that thing where he tries to come out of the pocket with his chin up like he always does, and he's going to eat a 3-2 or at least a 3. I don't know if the 2 will even have to land. What's going to happen is Islam's going to fall him to the ground. Gary's got two options. He's either going to try to get back to his feet and end up in a darce, or he's not going to try to get back to his feet and he's end up getting arm triangled or head and arm choked, depending on what you want to call it. I feel like it's got to be Islam. Like he's better everywhere. Maybe not like the flashier kickboxer, but like it's clean. He's accurate. He almost never gets hit. Like even everybody's like, oh, but what about the Volkanovski fight? Even with that fight, he's still like averaging. Let's see, strikes absorbed per minute. He's averaging 1.45. That's way below divisional average. So even after you factor in the first Volkanovski fight, like the dude just doesn't get hit. His striking accuracy is great. Like his striking defense is great. Like he's just, yeah. I mean, he's hard to beat. He's really hard to beat. And then the thing that's going to make it tricky is like Ian Gary's path to win this is like poke and prod him from the outside, right? He needs to like touch and move, all this good stuff, right? And like get Islam to come to him. But who's to say Islam's going to come to him? What if he's just saying like, I'm going to stay right here. You come to me. Then what? Which I don't imagine that Islam's the type of guy that's going to like feel like he has to chase him down unless he's somehow losing already. Which, you know, I feel like Islam's like, I'm the champion. You come to me. Like he's a smart fighter, and Gary's going to have to come to him if he wants to win the title. No, I don't see it. I think Islam's got this one in the bag. I think he hits him with the hook, drops him, gets a finish.
All right. How about you, Danny?
I like the 3-2 call. I like the right hook a lot, especially over the taller guy. Yeah, Islam, I'm not in the business of fading greatness. You talked about Topuria at the beginning before the show started, dude. I mean, take my money. I'll be wrong about that. I'm not going to be wrong if Islam Makhachev breaks Anderson Silva's record and goes for 17 here. So I think Gary can give him a good fight. Like stylistically, Khabib says it's his toughest opponent yet. I think that makes sense. Just the way that Gary approaches you, he's hard to look clean against. Those oblique kicks, the ranginess, the footwork is smart, the fight IQ. He's a very complete fighter. He's very savvy with the grappling. You know, you look at the Shavkat fight, taking Shavkat's back, the scramble ability. He's got great balance too. If you're on that single leg, he can hop around like a freaking inflatable tube man out there. Like he's got good instincts. He's got good skill. I like Ian Gary's game a lot, actually, even though it's not always the most exciting. It's very intelligent. But I just don't see how he overcomes the grappling. Tyler, I think that Islam Makhachev somehow, his kickboxing is actually still underrated. Like it's really good. And if you want to nitpick and look at maybe like the Poirier fight where Poirier had him, you know, in some trouble at points, Poirier is one of the biggest punchers in the division's history, man. And he was boxing with him and he still snatched up that Darce choke pretty incredibly in the end of the 5th round. So Islam just shown that like that greatness factor, even when fights get tough. And I don't think Gary is as dangerous as some other guys. Like I think Volkanov, as funny as this is to say, I think Volkanovski is more dangerous than Ian Gary to Islam Makhachev. And so, yeah, I think maybe he can win a round, maybe 2. I don't know, like with kicks and teeps and footwork, but ultimately Islam wins it. I have a winning decision. Tyler, I hear you thinking he hurts him and subs him or finishes in this fight, but I think he wins a decision here. The size, I think, will be a factor. It might be harder initially to take him down. But you look at the Shavkat fight again, where Gary is 17-1. He might have gained the most stock in his loss, actually, to the division's boogeyman. He did give up over 11 minutes of control time, whether in the clinch or on the ground. And I feel like Islam could do worse than that. So, yeah, I got the champ and still by decision plus 135.
Another little thing to add is Islam has already beaten a regional welterweight champion in Alexander Volkanovski. Yeah, don't forget, Alexander Volkanovski was a welterweight champion of the world on the regional scene.
I had someone in my comments saying that, bro.
And he was a heavyweight rugby player.
Dang right he was.
Just right.
Anyway.
JB, what do you think?
I forgot to make this joke before, bro. It came back to me, though. Now, you said Dern could take a beating. Ask her ex-husband, bro.
That's horrible.
Bro, break down the fight, JB.
Sue me. He's going to kill me, bro. Bro, look, at the end of the day, I don't think it's that simple because the one thing y'all didn't bring up is this is at 170. Islam's unproven at 170. And I'm in a sense like, all right, he dominated Jack Della for 5 rounds, but Jack Della's literally in the corner looking like he's like about to shit himself. I don't know what's going on. He's just I don't like he didn't want to be there. And then Islam doesn't push for the finish in that fight when I thought he could have, Jack was trying to, survive, but I think he was way levels above, and I think Jack was ready to give up, and he didn't put it on him. Look. I think Gary could make it tricky. He's a long, lanky guy. And what if it's not just an easy Darce, not just an easy arm triangle? But that Moicano one was on short notice. It took him till round 5. I know he's winning the Poirier fight, but Poirier on the late end of the career. I think Gary's a younger guy, smart, very intelligent as well. I mean, he knows what he's doing in the octagon. So, yeah, what if it's not as easy as just a Darce, just an arm triangle versus the taller guy when he's using the cage? And you mentioned as well, like you said, what is he better at? I don't think he's the better striker, pure striker on the outside. So if Gary is able to stuff some takedowns, which I think he can, up against the cage, and he doesn't come to him, right? You're saying, like, what if he just doesn't come to him? Then Gary has to come to him? No, I think he could stay on the outside and be the better kickboxer. I do think he has some range on him. So it might be a close kickboxing fight at that point. And you mentioned it as well, Danny. The guy is very hard to look good against. I mean, he knows how to make these fights very tricky. And you also mentioned it as well. Shavkat was able to take him down. That's another really more proven 170er with solid grappling. Didn't get finished there, and I think he's improving that grappling every day at Shootbox, just improving that grappling more and more. Use the cage to get back up, get back in the range. Maybe he loses rounds off of his back, but those other rounds I think are going to be close. One fight for Islam at 170. Ain't no way you could bet him here. I don't even have a method. Maybe he subs him, bro, and I look stupid, bro, and you look genius. I mean, he has an excellent Darce. Like I said, he's one of the best at getting to those positions. He knows them very well. His squeeze has been developed since a child. But I think Gary's a fucking smart guy, and I think people hate him, and I think that's why you can get value on him sometimes because guy's a hell of a fighter, and he's going up against a hell of a fighter, one of the best to ever do it. Islam is the best at mixing it together. I'm not saying he's a shit striker. That's not what I'm saying, 138. I'm just saying if the stylistic fight starts to play into Gary's favor, this could get very tricky. And I think Islam may start to make the mistakes because Gary can do that to you. He can frustrate you. He could be hit himself as well, but it's an interesting fight, man.
All right, I'm going to bring us home. I do tend to agree with JB a little bit more than our other two panel members. I'm going to pick Islam to win. I do think he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Elite grappling, extremely heavy on top, really good control, really great submission grappling, and he's a good striker too. There's a lot to like about Islam, but I'm not sold on him at welterweight. I'm not. I faded him with JDM. That was a bad bet. But the way I look at it is if I bet JDM at a worse line, I should probably be betting Ian Gary here because in my opinion, I think Ian Gary's got a better shot because for me, a big thing, especially watching it back now, is JDM's flat-footed. He doesn't use a lot of lateral footwork either, and I don't think it's as hard to take him down than it will be Ian Gary when Ian Gary's constantly moving laterally, and he's not going to be easy to find like JDM was, and he is going to use his range, and I do think he's going to try to use those kicks as much as possible to keep Islam away. So I think it is going to be trickier for him here, and I don't think he's going to be able to just easily out-grapple Gary. I don't think he's going to easily take down Gary. Gary is a lot bigger, and I thought he did pretty damn well against Shavkat, all things considered. Like, yeah, he gave up 11 minutes of control time, but it was a 25-minute fight, first off. He also stuffed almost every single takedown, and I think Shavkat only landed the takedowns in one of the rounds, if I'm not mistaken. And if you guys remember, the over 4.5 where the fight goes on that fight was like plus 240. I had 2 units on it because I felt like that was incorrect, but everybody thought that Shavkat was just going to run through Ian Gary, and it was a fight. It was a real fight. Shavkat won, of course, but Ian Gary showed really good takedown defense there. And is Islam a better pure wrestler than Shavkat? I'm fairly certain he is, but he's also smaller than Shavkat. Shavkat's a real welterweight, and he was a very good wrestler in his own right. So, and that was Ian Gary, what, 2 years ago, I think? Around 2 years ago?
And he's on 7th, 2024.
Yeah, and he's only gotten better since then. Ian Gary, something that I love about the guy is he's kind of settled down with this camp, but he used to travel everywhere. Literally everywhere. He spent time in Georgia also before he settled down in Brazil for this camp. I guess he was working on the wrestling. He's been doing everything he could to get himself to championship level, and I think he's pretty damn close. I mean, look at Prates. Prates just killing everybody. And Ian Gary put on a really nice performance against him over 4 rounds. The 5th round was a little dicey, very dicey. But, again, Prates is massive, and Islam is not like that in the striking. So I don't think Islam's going to come out here and knock out Gary. I really don't. I guess it's possible, but I don't think so. And I don't really think he's going to sub him. So I think we're looking at a 25-minute fight. I don't think either guy's going to finish. And to sell me on a minus 350 on Makhachev here in a 25-minute fight, I'm not sold. And I'm really tempted on the plus 270 on Gary. I haven't done it yet. I don't know that I'm going to. I don't know if I want to lose again against Islam. But and like the guy I actually want to fade Islam with is Morales, so I kind of want to just wait for that. But I'm also going to be incredibly pissed off at myself if Ian Gary freaking takes the belt off of him and I lose my opportunity. But I will pick Islam. I do think he's the truth, but I just also think that Ian Gary's a very legitimate guy, and I think he's going to put up a scrap.
I think for people that are talking about the size differential, which is very real, I don't think there will be a pronounced strength differential. Like you look at the muscle mass that Islam put on. I hear a lot of people were doubting that this is even possible. I think his camp said he added 11 pounds of muscle in 8 months. And like bodybuilders in the comments, like that's not nobody can do that. But I don't know. I mean, whatever the number is, I believe that he is extremely physically built out at 170 now. So for me, like, I don't think for like your we're talking about Shavkat, like, yeah, he's way bigger. He might be the more physical guy, but I do think that the strength differential won't be big for where the size might be.
I agree with that, especially because do you guys remember when they were posting everybody's like grip strength like numbers? Dude, his like, was huge.
He's like off the charts with the grip strength.
Yeah, I mean, like there was guys that were better, like that had better grip strength, but not very many, and they were like big guys. Like Khalil Roundtree had a higher one than him, but like Khalil's.
You would hope so.
Yeah,
you would hope so.
Yeah.
But
dude, just watch the Drew Dober fight, bro. When he arm triangles from the other side, and you could look and see like his back muscles, like it's crazy. Just go back and watch that one, and then the short arm Dars. You know, he got the Kimuras. He got a lot in the bag. I love it.
He's got some nasty grip.
Let's wrap this up. I gotta go to sleep. I appreciate everybody watching. We all do. Thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, my computer tweaked out for a second, but okay, I'm back. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I'm going to pass around the mic to everybody. They'll let you know what they got going on this week, where their content's at, where you can follow them. And then we're going to jump on out of here. So Tyler, thanks as always for co-hosting the show with me. Always a banger. Let the people know what you got going on.
Yeah. You guys know me. It's 138 MMA. I have all my breakdowns for the week 2 and 3 of Contender Series up for channel members. It's $2.99 a month. It's cheap. So you can check out those. I normally would have next week's UFC card all up for channel members by now. It would have normally been on Wednesday, but they were just announcing the fights today for the card. So give me a day or two, but it'll be up probably this weekend, and then I'll post that publicly after the Contender Series because it's that time of year. But week 2's Contender Series stuff will be live probably Sunday morning first thing for the public. But yeah, stuff's coming out early. If you want to be a channel member, it's $2.99. If you want to just wait for everything, you get it on Sundays and Wednesdays now.
All right. Danny, thanks for coming on. It was a pleasure breaking down fights with you. Nice to meet you, brother. Tell the people what you got going on, where they can find you.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man. It's great to talk the fights with you guys. I'll be on The Early Edge. It's a show on YouTube on CBS Sportsline. I'm there every Friday. You catch me throughout the week on HQ as well. I'm just giving breakdowns. Follow me on my page at Danny Brasco Bets on Instagram and Twitter. I'm putting out picks as well there. And I actually just dropped an app. I've been building an app for about a year for fantasy players, sports bettors. It's called Hometown Hero Fantasy. Check it out. If you're following me, I'll talk more about it. But it's about those sneaky angles that don't show up on the stat sheet. We're the only platform where you can find data on like situational spots, like the revenge game, the hometown game. It's his birthday. We're trying to be the place that captures what you can't find on the stat sheet that people bet on, but only hear about like in commentary or in tweets or articles. We want to be the platform that gets all that. And we just launched yesterday. So thanks for letting me share that.
Let's go. Congrats.
Heck yeah, dude.
Thank you.
JB, how about you, brother? Thanks for coming on. You were hilarious today.
Better late than never, too.
Tell the people where to find you.
Like you said, my man. And you know what? At the end of the day, it was a good time. 2 hours, long time, but a good time. And shout out to all you guys, very hard workers. I see all the stuff you guys are all doing, and I see you're always super consistent and improving every day, and that's what's up. I will have my bets in for this week. I just haven't placed any yet because I'm not confident in this card. Like I see a lot of these fights going either way, but I'm down 30 units on the year still, or like 28.9. So I'm gonna try and build back before the end of the year. Let's grind. Let's do it. You know, I think we could. The reads are starting to come back. I've been on a little streak, so I got to build through the Contender, go back to the film, talk with the homies. I think that's the biggest thing that missed from last year to this year, my best year before to this year, was talking with people. And I think that's what I'm going to do.
All right, let's go. Good luck, bro. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Good luck this weekend.